Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be continuing our Mission Impossible rewatch with Mission Impossible 3. It was released in 2006. It is written by Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orsi, J.J. Abrams, and directed by J.J. Abrams. The film stars Tom Cruise, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ving Rhames, Billy Crudup, Michelle Monaghan, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, Kerry Russell, Maggie Q, and Lawrence Fishburne. IMF agent Ethan Hunt comes into conflict with a dangerous and sadistic arms dealer who threatens his life and his fiancée in response. Joining me for this rewatch of Mission Impossible 3 are two of my co-hosts, Vikash and Martine. I will once again drop all of their info in the episode description, so please go give them a follow and check them out. Now, I'm going to be watching the 4K copy I have of Mission Impossible 3, but it's currently available to stream for free on Prime Video and Hulu. You can also rent it on Prime, Apple TV, and Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on Mission Impossible 3, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1. I've planted an explosive charge in your head.
That's fine, but Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of the best to ever do it. One of the best to ever grace a screen, period. And it sucks that he's gone. Yeah, this is one of the greatest things I ever saw him in as a kid.
Movie. That's how you open a movie.
How do you guys feel about Cooper?
Cooper, I like him.
As far as like the Nepo babies go, he's up there.
And you know, there's one of my things about Davian, Owen Davian, is that Phil plays this as like he could have gone like Bondian. He could have gone really like illustrious and dramatic with his performance, but this is just like nails.
And I think I tweeted, I was like, he basically has like no business being this good in this movie. Like he's just acting his ass.
I think this is the worst movie too, and I'm like, I don't get it, man. He's so fucking good in this movie. We were talking about in the first episode too. I don't think he's the best villain, but he's definitely the best performance in terms of villains.
Like his line delivery here when he's like, he's like, it's not, when he goes, it's in Paris, he goes, it's not in Paris 5. Like the way he just like delivers that, like, just...
Have you guys seen Happiness?
I have the Blu-ray, not the Criterion, so I might actually upgrade to the 4K.
Did you get the Blu-ray as like a bootleg before the Criterion came out?
I think it's an out of print Blu-ray now. But I guess it's not worth anything anymore because it's on Criterion 4K. But I saw it once.
I had a bootleg for a long time of that movie.
I think I got it in like 2009. It was like one of those like at Best Buy, like buy two, get one free. And I was like, oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I don't know what this is. So I just grabbed it. I watched it and I don't really remember it. That's why I was, which is kind of a weird movie to like not remember. Because it's like, I think it was just because I was in high school. And
I was going to say, I watched it one time and I watched it and then after that one time, I never forgot about it. Yeah. After the 4K came out, I rewatched it and I was showing it to Avery and she kind of said the same thing that I did, just that she loved it, but it was really hard to sit through.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a decade since I've seen it. I need to rewatch it.
I think in this next Criterion sale, I'm going to do a lot of upgrades. I mean, this is how you open a movie, man. I'd be like, all right, I'm in.
It's how you set your character. It's how you set a tone. It's how you set a villain up. You're in media res and you're chasing this back to the movie for, majority of the movie. So it's like, you have to get to this, and this is a different tone compared to 2, compared to 1. And this is where we get the action-y juice, right?
And this is where you see like Tom Cruise, like this guy can act, man. I know he does action movies, but like you watch this shit.
You say that, my first thought was Magnolia.
The second and third movie. Yeah, he's great in Magnolia. Yeah. But in a way, like those few years, like those 6 years between 2 and 3, he did a lot of movies that are not anywhere near like this kind of story. Like they're not action
Minority
movies.
Report. Minority Report, War of the Worlds.
Collateral. I mean, I guess they're like action movies, but they're not the same. Like they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is them trying to reboot it again, but then the next one doesn't come out for 5 years after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny to think again that like after those movies, like we had one like every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all gotta remind me. I have a good story from Brad Bird about the titles, like something that didn't work out for them. But these titles are pretty
I can see
bland.
we're all flashing like we were in the club right there.
That was the blandest ones that they had, I think, for the entire series.
The blandest opening titles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Those are
Yeah,
do a
quick.
great job with the rest of them.
But
it's
hey,
not
we
flashy.
we
After
heard
4 and 5,
the
actually after 4, they
Yeah,
started doing that thing where they like show little parts of the story in the credits.
and yeah,
compared
that's
to two,
part of what I have to tell y'all about. What's up?
compared to two, we heard the theme right away.
Yeah, which is a definitely a note, right?
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, we're doing the thing, we're doing our thing right away. That the woman that she just hugged, she's a good actress too.
This is the Michelle
We
Monaghan like
Like,
starting
that's what I
era.
was about to
She's been
say. Look,
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang before this. Year before,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
and then after this, she was in or maybe same year, or the year after, Eagle Eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Shia LaBeouf.
DJ Caruso, one of his two good movies.
And I rewatched Disturbia over the weekend. Still great,
Oh,
Disturbia
man.
is so good.
that I
Aaron
was telling you
Paul,
Still
about it,
great.
dude.
man. But that's how you like. I was thinking about it because I was trying to write one myself, and I was like, how do you do another Rear Window in this era? Like,
Yeah.
it is difficult
And I
not
always
to
tell
look
Disturbia
at
people
is
like
the
a
closest
Disturbia.
thing to it
remake
that we've
of
had
Rear
in a
Window, and
while.
they're like always shocked when I tell them it's a remake of Rear Window. This guy's always in J.J. Abrams stuff. Greg
Yeah,
Greenberg.
that's his buddy. Yeah,
Yeah, because he was in the Star Wars stuff. Then he's in the pilot of Lost. He's actually the pilot of the plane.
yeah.
He's in a
I've
lot of
never
stuff. I mean,
forgotten this
he was in Heroes, wasn't he?
conversation.
He was in Heroes, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That's what's her? Isn't that the Rosalia Isles lady?
Yeah, or yeah, she was in
Yeah.
NCIS before that. Kate.
And she was in Shameless.
Yeah, after
I
that,
can't
yeah.
recognize anybody from TV. You guys always recognize people from TV for me. I'm always like other movies.
But like, I mean, I grew up watching
Jeremy Allen White.
NCIS, and
She slept with Jeremy Allen
just
White, and he was her student. So.
yeah, she's kind of unforgettable in that. She's kind of unforgettable in NCIS also. No, but she just has an energy to her where she should definitely have a bigger career like Michelle, but she just never
Yeah.
got to it. Like, she would be good for like a White Lotus, honestly.
I feel like Michelle was perfect for White Lotus.
Oh yeah,
She's like a perfect actor for that.
Lake Wanaka, and we're going like, I like that we opened 6 with Lake Wanaka. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, from this movie on is like the actual like plot now.
The franchise, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say that. Like, I had Avery only watch the third one for like
Yeah.
going on.
You don't need to watch the first two really.
I
The
mean,
first
in
one's
the new
great.
one, you might need to watch the first one for.
I know.
Second one you could easily skip, but yeah, the first
Yeah.
one I think might be essential to understanding the new one. That's based off of what we
Until
know.
Anthony Hopkins comes out at the new one. Him and Lawrence Fishburne, and they're just walking together. Remember
Aaron
us?
Paul.
I was gonna say Aaron Paul, man. Yo, bitch.
2 years before Breaking Bad? Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
That was 2008, I think.
The editors, Dan Mindel, the DP, those are at least the two groups of people that JJ is still working with. Because those two women, they got nominated for editing for Force Awakens. They got an Oscar nom for that. Which, I mean, they do a great job with
That
their
got an Oscar
yeah.
nom?
Yes, for editing. Because I just covered the 2015 for we've talked about the 2015 a bit, but Strand Leopold, this EP, he is from Savannah.
Mad Max won that, right?
Yeah.
Editing? Yeah.
Yeah. Margaret Sixel.
Yeah.
100% deserved. But yeah, they were nominated 2015. Just made no sense. I would have put Creed there instead because that's what we were talking about. I was like, yeah, that deserved it a little bit more, even though Big Short probably would have won over it if Spotlight wasn't there.
Yeah.
One thing about this movie is that they fix all the problems. They bring you into the 2000s fully with this movie.
You know, actually,
The music, the vibes, the rom-comminess of this beginning, and then now we get into the act. Oh yeah,
you know, the last episode, I can't remember who asked it. I think it might have been Pat or maybe even you, Vikash, but I can't remember who. But you guys asked who we would bring back for these movies.
Yeah, I did.
Honestly, if he didn't die in this movie, I would say Billy Crudup.
Like Crudup,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
100%.
He's
There's
having
something
because he
about
had
Billy
a
Crudup, dude.
resurgence the
Like
last couple of years.
any movie that he's in, dude, he's just got like a very even in, as he's gotten older, I think like he looks great in the Flash movies. Like the Flash movie, I don't think the movie's very great, but he's good in it. I think the Stanford Prison Experiment, he's awesome in. He in Watchmen, I think 2009.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
that's
got
the
a
main one.
face, man.
He was in
He's
He's
got a
not
magnetic
a
face.
face.
I mean
He's got a face, but
pinnacle,
he's got like he's got the charisma.
his
Yeah.
pinnacle's the almost famous probably. But
His
I mean,
pinnacle is Watchmen.
he's won 2 Emmys for the morning show, I think. Whenever
The
you
morning
see him
show?
now, he's on that Apple show. Yeah, he's won like 2 Emmys for it. And then he was on another Apple show I watched called Hello Tomorrow, which wasn't very good. It was an interesting concept, but it wasn't like that great. I think it got canceled, but I just love seeing him like, oh, Billy Crudup, I'm gonna watch this. I love him.
Started
He
to
always
get a
looks
lot
like
of,
he's just
announcements.
he
for
always
Apple
looks like he's
releases
just
too on Blu-rays.
yeah, he always looks like he's just having fun. Everything
He
he's
does.
in.
But that's what I mean is that like he shows up in movies and I'm like, yeah, this guy's here. I'm gonna have a good time.
If I put him in a movie, I'd put him in like an adventure movie. So this is very much, the action adventure sort of vibe that they're going to some extent here, but they definitely,
And we got Kerry
should do
Russell.
it.
It's a good cast. Kerry Russell too.
Hey Russell, too. That's
Yeah,
what I mean. Like she
because
shouldn't have
of
died.
Felicity.
Because of Felicity, which J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams created.
And that's why she's also in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because Matt Reeves directed on Felicity because of JJ. Because those two are buddies. And
But
the crazy thing is that
you've seen
What's
it,
up?
right? You've seen The Americans, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
big fan.
Pinnacle FX show.
Pinnacle FX
Matthew
show,
Reese.
Pinnacle, Carrie, Matthew,
That's how they met. They're married now.
Not Roland Emmerich. That's not his name. Noah Emmerich. He's really good in that too. Yeah.
He's great.
Say Roland Emmerich's the guy that did all the disaster movies.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
and let us not forget The Patriot. Come on.
Yeah.
The one
But this
movie that's
cast-
not
And
you all seen
it's not
Some
historically
Shit
accurate
Destroyed?
at all.
Deep cut. Have y'all seen From Paris with Love?
been a while, but
I
I've seen it.
think when did that come out? Like 09? With Travolta's in that, right? And then what's his face? Jonathan Rhys. What's his
Yeah.
name?
Who's in this? This is only two movies I know him from.
Yeah. He had a moment. Because he was
And
the
one
Tudors.
more.
He was in
Yeah,
the Tudors. But yeah, he had a
There's-
moment in like that the late 2000s, early 2010s where he was in a lot of stuff, and then he's still in stuff here and there, but it's a lot of VOD stuff I notice now, like a lot of VOD action. What's his name?
Jonathan Rhys.
Jonathan
Rhys
Rhys
Meyers?
Myers. Yeah.
But we should talk about Dan Mendel, because Dan Mendel, like I said, he's done everything besides Super 8 with him. So they've done some great work together visually. Movies, can be left up to interpretation, but Dan Mendel knows how to light his movies. I was like,
This is
oh,
JJ's
I really,
first feature, right?
yeah. The biggest thing he did before this was The Lost Pilot, which
Yeah.
says something. And it's all 100% our man, Tom Cruise, being like, oh, let me get this guy.
Here's Top
Who
Gun.
scored this one?
Michael Giacchino. I
Giacchino?
think?
Yeah. Okay, you
This
can
is
tell.
JJ. Yeah.
There's a
'Cause
video
he-
of have y'all seen that
uses
video
his-
of Tom doing the conducting for the fourth movie?
No, I haven't. I gotta watch it. I
It's
gotta
pretty
see it.
funny.
But I think Maggie was modeling at this point in China, and they brought her in. She's great in this movie. Luther, this is probably the most
Oh
we get
man,
of
this is
Luther
the
of all
best
the
Luther's
movies.
been in all the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the best Lufa, Ethan.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many times we talk about Luther, and all I'm hearing is you saying Ethan. So I'm just like
Ethan.
sitting in my car listening
You
to
gotta
a
be
pod, just say Ethan.
Ethan.
The score is great in this one.
Yeah, you can definitely hear like Lost in this score too.
It
He
sounds
brings
like
back
a
the snare
buzz,
drums
all
and
of Lost.
live buzzing, which I
He
love.
did
That
all
like
of
moment
Lost.
that like
you know.
He brought it back in Rogue One. That's what it was. He brought the snares back in that.
I mean, I think he's fucking great, Jeek, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like people see that he's attached to a score and immediately everyone's like, yeah, dude, we're gonna get some
Yeah.
fucking food.
He's doing Fan Four Stick this year, so
Yeah, I
I am
saw.
excited for
Mhm.
that.
They're
Except, I'm apathetic to the movie. I ain't gonna lie.
so speaking of Fan Four Stick, who wants to talk about it? We got the double feature coming up. Two double features that I think we're pretty hyped to talk about.
I mean, I'm excited for all of them, even though I'm not gonna go see Dracula Frankenstein. I do
Someone
love those movies.
someone responded to me saying that they think those double features are only playing in Chicago.
We'll see.
But I was like, I don't
I don't know about
know.
that.
I
Why
don't know
would it
why they
only
would
be
post
Chicago?
that.
Anyway,
Like,
it
oh,
doesn't matter.
yeah. I was just like,
I
By
I
the
like
don't
time
know.
that
the
this
That's
episode's out,
Chicago,
I'm sure
but
we'll get some more news about it. But we've got 4 double features that are releasing pretty soon this summer. But there's 2 that I would assume that all us 3 are most excited for, and that's the Dune double feature, Dune Part 1 and 2, and then
Mhm.
they're doing a Mad Max and Furiosa double feature. But
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the Mad Max one, Mad Max is playing first. Did you guys see that?
yeah. I already
Yeah, I
knew it
saw
was
that.
gonna play first.
But it's yeah.
That's how
They're
out of
probably just gonna
touch
go
they
by
are.
release order for those stuff.
Uh,
But I don't
this
know. They could
whole
change it. I don't
scene
know. It's like
is
5 months in advance.
this scene is. I mean, this whole beginning of this movie is them fixing everything, setting the
This is them.
tone.
This is them fixing that
Like
scene in the second one when he has to go
because
steal the serum there.
yeah, because it's like the action in this, the way they have the gun set up and the technology of the gun, finding Lindsay, the stuff
Mhm.
in the van, like every single bit of it is them updating everything to where it needs to start. This is the starting line for them, and then they
If you
work
think about
off of
it, this
this
is
and
like
change
the scene
stuff.
in the first Mission Impossible with like the them like going to that house.
Yeah,
The list. Well, it
Right.
is. We've got a scene before this where it shows us that he's getting married or he's
yeah,
engaged with
yeah.
his fiance and everything.
Catching us up with his actual life.
I think yeah. I think they filmed this when they're flying
This
the
is peak Tom
helicopter.
Cruise right
When they're
here.
flying the helicopter where there's all those windmills are, that's on the way to like Palm Springs, like Coachella. Like that's
Yeah,
where they filmed Seven as well in that area. Um,
That final
this
scene at
guy,
the end.
great actor, the ratty looking dude.
great, great
The
British
ratty
actor.
looking dude is
Right looking
crazy.
dude.
He's a ratty looking
Man,
dude in everything he's in, but I'm talking about always fantastic.
he's in a lot of he's in a lot of
Man,
Guy Ritchie
this
stuff.
yeah, he is.
Eddie Marson.
Every time they do this, man, the mix on this is fantastic too.
Oh, he's in The World's End too. Yeah, he's one of the
Yeah,
guys in The World's End.
Yeah,
he's
he's
one of the
great in the
guys.
World's
Yeah.
End.
How much I want to watch this movie. It's surround sound, man. Oh man.
I'm watching this in my office because of my desk and everything in the mic, but I mean, when I watch this, dude, like the surround sound speakers go off like crazy.
Oh, yeah, when I was rewatching this I think I watched it on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Um, I literally was like, this is literally the same exact second scene production design from not the second movie production design when he has to get the serum, but it's just a way better
Yeah.
fucking scene. It's literally
Yeah.
they're just redoing this scene.
In a better way, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like because they
He's
do like the
known
same
to
thing. Like he tosses the gun to her because she tossed the gun to him. It's like the same exact stuff.
the gun toss here is much better.
My
Though.
favorite thing
So much
about like
better.
them doing all the stunts for this new movie is they're like, we did it already, but we're gonna do it better this time. It's like they've done
Yeah.
that before with this.
One thing they're good about is seeing what they did wrong and what other people do wrong with certain like plot points, and they do it better.
Mhm. And you actually have a team now. It's just not your
Yeah.
fucking self.
Which
Yeah,
is like-
usually I think that's the big thing, the big issue with the first 2 movies is that like the first movie,
just
yeah,
him,
he has a team,
yeah.
but they all die pretty quickly. The
Yeah.
second movie, he
And half the
technically
team
has a
turns on
team as
him.
well, but like, what are they doing in the helicopter? You know what I mean? Like they're not doing shit.
Yeah.
The third
Yeah, the
movie,
random-
it's like
the
this is
random
the first
Australian
time where it
guy.
really feels like there's actually a team. That's
One of
actually
the
a really good
smartest-
point, Pat. Like I think that's what's wrong with the first 2 movies that really makes them like feel
Hey,
differently. Because
I-
the first one isn't like a bad
you need
movie.
a family
Yeah.
to be like invested within. And one of the best things they did with this one, and then continuing into the next one, is Simon Pegg. That was
Yeah.
JJ bringing him in.
Yeah, Simon Pegg
and then
is
they've
choices.
realized like Simon Pegg is like he doesn't really get a lot of great work as a lead nowadays, but he is a
He,
fantastic actor.
he's not even in this movie that much
Oh,
either.
he's not.
No, but
But
he's
that's the
he's like a
genius thing going
standout
into
though. It's the
Ghost
thing.
Yeah.
Protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Because the minute
He's
that I saw that we were doing 3, I was like, oh yeah, like Simon Pegg's in this one finally.
Mm-hmm.
so JJ talks about it how I think it's either JJ or Brad Bird. Someone talks about it how when they were making the movie, they someone asked them
There it is.
what the rabbit's foot is. Look at that. Perfect. But yeah, the rabbit's foot. I mean, like the whole like the way that he sells a rabbit's foot, that is what like makes the movie in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual fear of it.
This is her audition for The Americans.
They're doing such a great job with this. Like JJ came through first movie.
If you haven't seen The Americans, fucking watch it. Incredible television show.
Americans,
And one of the best series finales of all time.
Letterbox was asking about Alex Garland today. Like, what's your favorite movies? I'm like, have y'all seen Devs? Because that, like, I always talk about that. Another recommendation: Defy Bloods on Netflix. Delroy Lindo's been in the conversation recently. That's three great recs right there. And Americans is like bona fide one of the best things ever made on TV. Better Call Saul, another one. Both of them never got their credit.
Americans did at the end. Matthew Rhys did win Best Actor, the final season.
Yeah,
I was like, all right.
I think Better Call Saul went like 60 noms, 0 wins.
Yeah.
And they could have had like
it should have
they could have no, they could have had like 80, 90, 100 nominations, honestly.
They were going up against like end of Game of Thrones, which they were still rewarding Game of Thrones, and then they were going up against Succession.
But the problem is it was, the Emmys are a popularity contest. I don't like them one bit. And there's so much TV.
With every new information daily about how academies work is these people don't actually care. They don't watch anything.
Nope. Even what is it?
What was the show Maggie Q was in on CW?
Nikita.
Or what? WB Nikita, that's what it was. Nice. See? This is what 2 is lacking. That entire sequence. We're already in the action. Watch them. We're ripping on 2, and then watch them bring Tandy Newton back for the new one.
You know what's? I don't mind Tandy Newton. I think
I think she's
wrong with
great in that
movie
movie.
is more of a pacing thing and structure, and because she's good in the movie, but she's just not given much to work with.
Yeah.
Who?
Tandy.
I mean, I guess is it Thandaway Newton?
Yeah, that's her real name. She didn't use her real name.
They were
before.
saying that people were like saying her name wrong for years.
Yeah, but she never. She changed her name to her proper name. That's all it was. Maggie Q, Nikita. Y'all have seen Born Legacy. Born Legacy. The whole like point of Born Legacy is they give them pills, and that's how they're able to be like superhuman or whatever. And the show in Nikita, which is very much worth watching if you like this sort of actiony stuff. That's literally the whole point of the movie. So I was watching Nikita every week, and then I went to the theater, saw Born Legacy, and I got really mad because I'm like, I'm watching this on TV. I've seen this happen. So it's like there's a bias to Born Legacy, like watching it, where it's like I don't know, the shtick of Born Legacy didn't work for me.
They limitless to his ass.
These windmills are on the way to Palm Springs, California. Fun facts. Brought to you by me.
This is great work because it's practical. I mean, they did a great job. And I think JJ, when it comes to CG, he does a great job. In Star Trek in 2009, Star Trek.
I did.
Y'all remember the scene with like John Cho like fighting on like the big like world
platform
destroyer thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what an epic scene. Are you all fans of that movie?
Say,
I think that's What is JJ's best movie? I think it's Star Trek 2009.
Probably that. But my favorite of his, which doesn't have a lot, but it's Super 8.
This is
It's probably because
I
it's
would
very
say
Spielbergy, and that's probably why I like it.
I love it, bro. Literally, Cinema Pursuit,
Yeah,
production value.
value.
I love Super 8.
Yeah, I love
Super
Super
8's
8.
pretty solid. I don't know if I have a favorite one of his. Like all his movies are kind of the same to me in
Yeah, I mean,
terms
he's
of
not
like
like my
enjoyment.
favorite. I would say honestly, I would just thank him, like, thank you for like creating Lost, because that's like one of my favorite television shows of all time. I probably would just say that to him.
I'm a
I
fan
think
of
what
Big
I feel like if I
Robot,
watched
I
Lost,
think,
I'd probably say Lost, but I've only watched the first like 2 seasons.
but
I mean, that's first
the
two
way
seasons are the
Lost
pinnacle
did
of Lost,
everything
honestly.
is like
It's
they
the
did a
best
great
part of
job.
Lost. And then the writer strike hit, and then you can
Yeah,
that's a show you can tell when the writer strike hits.
yeah.
And I still love it,
Heroes
but like,
also.
yeah, I still love it, but the later seasons are not as good as the before pre-writer strike.
You can see where the mixture of the set stuff, the on location stuff, the CG, like the mix of everything is just it's so immaculately done in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do better and better every time they've made a movie like this. Because I mean,
I think that's
skip
what's
all
good
the
about
way
this
Visuals
scene
or
too.
stuff
to
that I
Is
don't
Millennium
think were
Falcon.
really like
yeah.
quite frequent yet. Like you see it a
Oh,
lot
you're
in
right.
Force Awakens
This is
too.
kind of this is kind of the same scene in Force Awakens when she first gets into the Falcon.
Even
Yeah,
down to
The
like the
sequence
digital
right here.
zooms. Like you can
Yeah.
see the shots of them like just throwing stuff in the shots and then they're just zooming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why it's like that's why like this is the beginning, and then they start to actually like have the time and actually do something. But I mean, the main thing here is like the pacing is like
Yeah.
it's razor. The
The
tension is
main thing
high
too
with
here
this.
is they don't save
This
her. Like the mission is they fail the mission.
you know what the scariest part about this is like her eye. That like
Yeah.
I'd never
That's
forgotten that,
good.
and
Good fucking
every time I
makeup.
watch this,
When it happens, it's like something you don't unsee. It's strange.
And
It's not like a violent
yeah,
thing.
when I was watching it, I was like, I like how she dies, and it's not like at 1 second. It's at four
oh,
seconds charging
here,
left, and it's not like one, and then she dies, but she had already died. It's like,
Like they were
okay,
close, but it wasn't like so close that it was like, damn, like we
I
had
like,
it.
yeah, I liked how he still had like four
this
more
is
seconds. Like it
this
was
is
didn't
the
matter.
this is the only time Ethan didn't accomplish his mission.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what sells this scene. It's like you just watched all that, and he failed the mission.
And oh man, that eye just it freaks me out,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Because it's
good.
like that's how you like the little like the calculus of like how do you make something gory in a PG-13 and like keep these stakes. Like we just like whatever rewatched Revenge of the Sith. They got literally dead kids up in that movie, but they make
Yeah.
it work. I mean,
Yeah, whenever I went to see that in theaters, a bunch of people cheered at that scene.
I ain't
Cheering
gonna
for
lie.
mass
Like,
murder.
I'm not gonna
I ain't gonna
lie,
lie.
I might have joined in, you know?
I told Zach,
Yeah,
I
fuck
was
them
like,
kids. Fuck
literally was. I mean, I didn't feel that way, but like I did want to say it because it's the meme. But like,
Yeah, it's just become something like a meme. It was funny though. A lot actually, it wasn't even just that scene. Like there was a few scenes that people were like cheering for.
I
Mm,
was laughing. I don't know about y'all, but like there's just some of that George Lucas dialogue where you just have to laugh because it's like,
yeah,
it's not
It's just a bit
good.
dated is all.
Not
yeah.
even dated. I think I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, but like, I think George Lucas, like, he has a very visual mind, and it's like sometimes that dialogue slowing him down. It's like you don't even need the dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Not
I mean,
from a Jedi.
he, I mean, the work that they did with Clone Wars is much better. I will say that. I watched
Attack of the
Revenge of the
Clones, or do
Sith,
you actually mean the Clone Wars movie?
Clone Wars, the show,
The
because
show.
Oh,
like
okay.
they made season 7 recently, and it is a stone
Now you
cold
got.
drop.
Now you got. It's because Filoni's just fan
Morpheus?
servicing at this point.
No. Clone Wars, like the ending is actually like they show Order 66 and like Ahsoka comes back and literally everyone paints their helmets, they like their stormtrooper helmets, their clone trooper helmets as like Ahsoka. It is like a wholesome moment. And then Order
Mm-hmm.
66 happens and literally everyone dies. And the end of the show is her burying everybody and then burying her lightsabers and just leaving. And then like
Damn.
months later, Vader shows up there and like takes her lightsabers. And it's like it's such a it's just somber, sad thing to see.
I remember seeing clips of it whenever it dropped on, like whenever that episode dropped, like on
Yeah.
Twitter.
They landed the plane because I mean everything else. I mean like Rebels is good, but Ahsoka wasn't good. Like it just did not work. I mean it's just I don't know. Obi-Wan didn't work. Like they're trying to fill in too many gaps. That's the problem. And the best gap filling work they've done is Andor. Like Andor is genuinely fantastic because it's not even about Star Wars. It's about real life. This suit has me cracking up with
It's like a
I don't know
pinstripes.
who yeah, I don't know who chose this suit.
It makes him stand out, though. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. I did notice that JJ doesn't use a lot of lens flares in this one.
I wonder why.
I
Yeah.
feel like
It's a
there was
good
a
thing.
few. I feel like there was a few in that little chase, but it was
Yeah,
like
there was.
It's
spare.
not as bad as like
There's
when you
about
get to
two.
when you get to Star Trek and Super 8. You're like, all
Yeah,
right,
Star
JJ,
Trek.
no,
They're
and literally
take it down.
have
Take
y'all
it
seen the
down.
behind the scenes where he's literally doing this? Have y'all seen that? He's literally
Probably, I
at the
don't know, yeah.
camera, like doing the lights. Like I remember seeing a shot of the cockpit, and like it's Dolly, and he's
there
literally
were,
sitting there with a flashlight.
I think there was I was watching. It may have been Super 8 behind the scenes, like on the Blu-ray or whatever, the 4K, and he said my wife saw the first cut
Yeah.
and turned to me and said, "Yeah, you gotta like comment on the lens flares, man."
Yeah, it was his wife.
It's like
His
okay,
wife,
I'll do that.
the mother of
They like
Gracie
they like
Abrams.
make lenses that are specific to like
Gracie
getting lens
Abrams.
flares. That's crazy. You know that?
Yeah, I do.
Like anamorphic lenses that are like
Yeah.
designed in a way to like catch more flares.
Yo, did you know Gracie Abrams' dad made this movie?
Yo,
Gracie
you know what's
Abrams' dad.
funny? Actually, I know what you're
these
talking about.
glasses. So
I
2000.
I heard her for the first time when I went and saw Phoebe Bridgers in like 2022, 2023. It was
Yeah.
pretty early in her career. And I remember like thinking like, whoa, this girl's pretty good. And I saw the last name Abrams and I was like, surely
It ain't.
it
I'm gonna do a
isn't. And then I looked it up and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's her.
Google search. She's huge now, Gracie Abrams.
She's massive now. Yeah. I saw her before she was huge, which is crazy. But yeah,
Here's your Americans training scenes.
saw her with, dude, what?
And the Americans, they have like training scenes like that when they're in Russia.
See, I don't get it. I don't get it because I'm not watching TV.
I used to be a big TV watcher. I'm not as much anymore. Unless it's like a show that's been out for a bit, like The Pit, I watch because it's like, okay, I'll watch that. But like everything just gets canceled after a season now. Like I'm not gonna waste my
Streaming,
time.
it's just a whole different system.
So I'll go back and rewatch like The Americans. I have the box set. Like I'll go back and watch shows that are fully complete, not a show that's new that I don't know if it's gonna be canceled in a month.
Yeah, I usually only watch
Not worth
TV
it.
shows that are like longer if I know that it's finished. But now even then, it's like
Mhm.
I can't even rely on that now because they're just spin-off shows. Like I'm gonna be honest, when I
Yeah.
started Dexter, I was like, okay, I'm watching Dexter
There's like
because
18 fucking shows
Yeah.
of Dexter.
it's over, and now we got like 3
Yeah,
spin-off shows. Like there's like a whole new, there's like a
you
new
have the
blood
spin-off
show.
finale, the prequel,
And
It's
there's
like
another one.
There's
It's
like a
what the
younger
fuck
version
is
of him, and there's like a new version of
Yeah.
him that's like older, and it's just another spin-off of a spin-off. It's
yeah,
like,
I
what are
don't
we
know.
fucking doing now?
I have
Yeah,
maybe
it's
4
weird.
recommendations or 5 that I make, which is a comedy. You go like a Parks and Rec, a Psych, maybe.
Office.
The Americans, Mr. Robot, and like maybe Person of Interest. That's like 5 shows I might recommend because I know there's not going to be anything else. Legion is another one. Devs
Well,
is
Mr.
another
Robot's
one.
one that I've considered because I know it's only 4 seasons, and I would. I
4
mean,
seasons.
I hear it's good.
It's 40 hours, and
Yeah.
you'll like it. It's
I hear it's
definitely
good.
like it's
I think
a
you would like Lost. I think you would like Lost a lot. You've seen the
Lost-
first 2 seasons though.
I do need to watch
Lost
Lost. I started the first.
Lost gets
I
a
think
little
I watched
lost,
the first 2
but
seasons,
it's
but I need
still
to
good.
rewatch them.
Leftovers is another great one.
Leftovers.
No,
is fantastic.
I couldn't do
Leftovers is
Leftovers.
fantastic.
I watched the first season. I
Watchmen.
finished it. I was like, I'm not doing this. Watchmen's
Damn.
Watchmen.
Watchmen's
you
different.
bailed-
though. It's 1 season.
You
It was
bailed
never meant to be
Leftovers
more
when
than.
you, after the best part. The second season is the best part of that show.
Yeah, second season.
Get out of here! Get the fuck
second
out of
season.
here!
Incredible.
Like
I'm
Lindelof
gonna
takes
post you
control.
guys right now. I don't care.
Incredible television.
Leftovers is still some of the best. Like it's in the same realm as the other stuff I'm talking about. Like genuinely some of the best
Incredible,
stuff I've
yeah.
ever seen. Period.
Woo! Son of a pig.
Like
Yeah, we're gonna watch Shaun of the Dead this weekend. What?
You know what's kind of funny about Simon Pegg's
Yeah, I hope I'm
performance in
around
this
for
is
that.
that like I feel like they didn't intend to bring him back.
No, they didn't.
I
They
think yeah,
barely intended for him to be in the movie, but it's
but I
like
think if
this
you
is
rewatching the last 1 and 2, he's the comedic relief, and I think they're like, we need some sort of character that is like not
saucy.
serious. Yeah, like
They need the
he is serious,
sauce.
but like he's not Ving Rhames. Like you need another character
This
that's
is you
memorable
need
but is also
a
comedic.
So then who's the
what's the word?
comedic relief in the first movie then? Because the second one doesn't have one.
That's what I'm saying. They
That's
don't
why it doesn't
first one
work.
and two doesn't
Oh, they
they don't
realized that
have
they didn't
one
have one in the
really.
first two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
especially
because everyone
two.
else
Two
is
is
a
missing a
straight
lot.
man.
Let's be
That's the thing.
honest.
You have your straight mans, and then
Yeah.
you need someone to make fun of them. That's why it's like
Yeah.
Simon Pegg's always the
But
one
he's
who's
good at
kind
his
of
job in
yanking his
this.
chain.
Yeah, like he's good at his
Like in
job in this, but
Fallout, the
he's yanking his chain, like you said.
like in Fallout, you know how he's running at the or like towards the end of the movie, he's doing the chase, like the running chase, and he's in the building, and it's supposed to be like he's in the second story, and Henry Cavill's character is like at the bottom floor, and he has like jump out of a window.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
Simon
he's
Pegg.
like talking to him.
That he's like, oh my bad, like that's Simon Pegg comedy.
Oh yeah, where he's like, I'm about to jump out a window. He's
Jumping
like,
out a
oh crap,
window.
I didn't realize it was 3. Like, oh shit.
Yo, hit me with timestamp real quick. I think I'm behind you.
I'm at 1:35 minutes even.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like 1 second behind you.
Okay, there we go. I should be caught up a little bit.
Took me
Yeah, I'm like
ages.
1 second behind.
What operation? That look in your eyes, a pain in my ass. You know that.
Luther. No, I mean Ethan.
You guys ever see Ghost Dog? The Way of the Samurai?
Yeah. Of course.
I don't know what it is
Fantastic.
about that. I feel like Ving Rhames
Jim,
should been in
man.
that. I love Ghost
Jim.
Dog. It was so fucking good, man.
Got that Criterion.
So
That's
one
how I
great
got
thing
it.
about
Did you blind buy it?
Michelle-
I got the Criterion for it, yeah.
Did you blind buy it?
Yes, but I'll say this: I didn't buy it during the sale. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace that someone was selling it for like $10, and I was like, I've been wanting to get this
nice.
forever, and
Yeah.
I just met up with him, and I got it. I watched it that night. It was so good.
Great. 1999. Great year.
They're not on that roof. But one thing about Michelle is that she has this
soundstage.
this
bro.
every woman characteristic to her, and like just seeing her, like the shot of her down the hall in the scrubs, I'm like, that's a real, it just feels like she's a real woman in a real hospital. I don't know, just out of experience, she just looks real in that role, and they just did a great job with all the details.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot
Which
of
makes
clips in
me-
this movie, though.
Which makes me like invested. That's my problem half the time, is that this, like with JJ, they started an era of like shooting close-ups and then shooting some mediums and not enough wides. Like there's like if you don't shoot enough mediums, in my opinion, like you just get lost, because if you're going from wides all the way to close-ups, it's a headache of a movie to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you see a bunch of like streaming services making movies now. Is they demand more close-ups than anything else, because
Yeah.
people aren't watching stuff, and they're watching stuff on their phones, is what they say.
But my problem is that like if you want to establish geography, like if I'm watching a scene, I need to know where we are, right? And if I don't
No,
know
I mean, I
where
get
am,
that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I agree with
Yeah.
you, Vikash. I'm just saying that like that's the nature of what's happening in the
Yeah.
industry now, is that
because
we have everything on a streaming service that looks the exact same, because they have the producers and everybody who agrees on a set list of cinematographers, people who color the footage, people
Yeah.
who basically make the sets, and it's like the same reusable technology. Like they're just recycling the same ideas and the same people over and over again with
but
no
it's
creative
also in the blockbusters.
aspects.
Uh,
I think it's to an
Colin
extent
Tr-
with the movies.
Colin
and theaters,
Trevorrow.
but-
Honestly,
Uh,
I think this was a pickup, and that's why it's all closed
Yeah,
up.
it
and
is.
you can't see what's
It
going
is.
on. in the background.
But
It's definitely a
Jurassic
pickup.
World.
We're over here like
Did
debating,
y'all-
and you're like, "This might be a pickup."
Did y'all watch Jurassic World Dominion?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know, there's a
Fortunately,
scene
I
in the
own
middle
it.
of the movie.
Unfortunately, I own it.
I could never.
Same
But
here.
in the middle of the movie, they have a scene where they're at a marketplace, like a black market, and there ends up being like a little chase in there, and I could not tell what was going on. I was so lost during that scene.
At least the new one, it doesn't.
This
look like
movie
it's
is very
lit
rom-com-y.
very well, but
I think
it doesn't
one
look
of the
bad.
good things
Looks like it's
about
shot.
one of the good things about this movie is that they actually like some of the more romantic stuff actually really works. And the romance investment here is the reason why Tom really wanted to, resolve this story is because,
Mhm.
you know,
Like yeah, like you're saying, this was like real. Actually, it wasn't like oh, she's another IMF agent. Like, oh no,
yeah,
she's actually just a normal person.
they like they made the stakes real. So, I mean, it made it worthwhile. And I mean, that's why they have to
She's
show her
at
at
the
the end
end
of the
of
next movie.
she's at the end of 4, right? Yeah, she's at the end of 4. So she's in 3 of these movies technically.
At the
Yeah.
end of 4, and then she's in 6.
She's in 6, yeah, and then 6 is when they resolve it. Who knows? Maybe she's in 8. I don't know. Maybe she appears.
Little cameo sequence, like portal scene at the end of Endgame.
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins comes out.
Ethan,
On your
on your left.
Yeah,
Look at the
Ving
blocking
Rhames
right
got the
here.
team.
There's like 3 different.
Emilio didn't
Anthony
die.
Hopkins.
Emilio didn't
There's
die.
like
He's
Hannibal
there.
Lecter, Anthony Hopkins. There's Red Dragon, Anthony Hopkins.
Gordon Bombay, Emilio Estevez.
He's got like a
Westworld,
stake
Anthony
going through his
Hopkins.
face. It's like part of his
Everyone is
character.
actually they're androids. They show at the end that Ethan Hunt is actually an android.
Android. This is actually Westworld.
Leah
It's like
Sadie's character shows up at
pause
the
all
end.
motor functions. Tandway
Oh,
Nguyen
man.
shows up. And it's like Maeve.
guy
I don't
shows
know if
up.
you'll watch
Yeah,
She's
Henry
wearing the
Spire
exact
shows
same
up.
outfit that she was wearing all of 2. That like blue shirt with the blue.
with the jeans.
With just the jeans and like the Keds shoes. Keds white shoes.
I still need to go to
man.
Rome. I still need to go to Europe, period.
Definitely been to Ireland, the homeland.
I've been to the homeland and, a few other places recently. This is where the movie starts, finally, in my opinion. I don't know about y'all.
I don't know what
40
fucking
minute.
movie you're watching, but Vikash, me started 40 minutes ago.
But I don't know. There's a thing in like my head, like always, where it's like, oh, the movie starts now. It's like, oh, John Wick, the
Yeah.
dog dies, and all this stuff happens. Then the movie starts.
I
And
think
now
what I
we're
like
past
so
all the
much
story.
too
Like
is,
we're properly invested within the narrative. Like now he has all the stakes. Now the movie starts.
That's fair.
Which I mean,
the
every
reason why
single
I like this
movie it's a
movie
different
is I saw this freshman year of high school. I was going into my freshman year of high school.
in
I
theater.
think that's why, yeah, in theater. I think that's why it's more impactful.
How many
for
of
me,
these
so I
have y'all
remember
seen in
that.
the theaters?
3 and on.
4 and
All
on
of
for
them.
me.
I watched 4 and on.
Because 4 was 2011. I was in high school, so like that was the big one for me. And
I
then
was unfortunately
5,
only 7 when this came out, so
I
I didn't
was.
watch it when it came out on DVD though.
I'm
Like
dating
I was
myself.
7 when it came out. Yeah.
You're always 7.
I've seen this
15.
like 20 times on DVD at least. Like I've seen this so many times.
I saw a lot of these with my dad on DVD that I definitely should not have watched. My dad let me watch fucking Matrix with him.
I love that
Watch
whole little.
Speed with him.
I love.
Same.
I love that little
Same.
clip there. They're all yelling at him, and then he says, "Oh, it's all fixed now." They're all happy, like, "Oh, no problem."
Ah, no problem. No problem. They're, like
Grazie.
being an asshole to him.
That's some funny stuff.
Yeah, they were having problems getting this done, if I remember correctly, but it looks great.
Bro, I saw Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring in theaters. Remember that?
I saw all that at home.
Damn.
I
Dating
saw this at
myself.
home too.
Dating myself.
I love this.
Someone's probably
There
listening
we
to this
go.
being like, "Bro, I was born in like 1960. I saw like fucking Empire Strikes
Yeah,
Back in
like
theaters."
geriatrics like hit us up on Twitter. I'm joking. That was a joke.
That's
y'all.
how I get a lot of comments. People being like, I saw this in theaters. Like, you kids are so young. I'm like, dude, I was fucking 3. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
You know what this
Sorry,
reminded me
I
of?
wasn't born yet. Like,
Have y'all
Sorry, I
seen
wasn't
Italian
fucking
Job?
born yet.
Like 2003 Italian Job?
That one's pretty
I saw it
good.
in
I like
theaters.
that one.
Really? Or no, like this scene, like with the underwater stuff, and
Oh,
then they
yeah.
do a little bit more underwater
Oh, yeah.
stuff in the
Oh,
scene
shit,
with
it's the new
Owen
Pope.
at the auction.
That's the new Pope, guys. New Pope, Tom Cruise.
I'm tempted to make some jokes, but I'm not going to. I'm so tempted to make some bad jokes.
Is it
What?
regarding some news that
He's
just
not,
happened recently?
He's not a
No.
part of any religion, right? I don't know his background outside of this.
Who?
Tom Cruise.
Say
What
it,
is he like
say
in
it.
his personal life?
I think he's Catholic.
Hail Zeno.
I think he's a Scientology man. L. Ron Hubbard.
When's the last time you saw Shelly Miscavige?
When's the last time you saw Bin Laden?
I'm memeing.
I feel like we brought that same fucking line up
we
like
did, we
3
did.
episodes
We did.
now.
We did.
Everybody.
I
Bro,
know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I
was,
think
I was,
every
I was
it's like
listening
every
to the
other
other
episode that we bring that line back.
That'll be the running bit. When's the last time you saw?
When we actually watch Zero Dark 30, like that line's gonna be fucking beat to death.
Oh my god! I have to like.
No, I'm gonna
crank
love it.
that up.
Y'all seen Detroit, right? Catherine
I've seen
Bigelow.
it before. It's been a while, but I've seen it.
You
That
also
movie
love
should
theaters
get a
too,
lot more
man.
love.
Yo,
I did too. And 2017 was a good movie.
Will Poulter was great in that film.
Will Poulter, one of his best roles to date. He's disgusting in that movie.
It's kind of crazy how he started off with the career that he did, and he's evolved into such a great
Maze
actor
Runner?
now. Like him being in,
Yeah.
not even just
Not
Maze Runner. I was
bro.
actually thinking
Throw
of
it back to Disney.
Or the Millers. Yeah.
No. Throw it back to I think it's Caspian or Voyage of Dawn Treader, Chronicles of Narnia.
yeah,
He's
he
in the
was in
third
that,
He's the
one,
little
right?
kid with the
Before.
He's
rat.
the third one, right? I think he's the third one.
Yeah.
Is that the third one?
Because I'm telling you, the first time ever since I saw him, I was like, I hate that kid, but he is talented.
He's grown up to be like a really good, like,
Yeah.
even I'll say this, like he was in Death of a Unicorn, didn't love the movie, but he was very good.
This is where the
Yeah,
dresses
he was good
started.
in that.
I'm telling you, the dresses started right here. And telling you, I used to like cars. You know, Lamborghini.
You know,
You know.
these movies are kind of like the vacation movies where he just gets a new team like every movie, like in the vacation movies when he just kept getting different children every single movie.
And it's like they finally, I guess with McHugh, they finally tried to make it more cohesive.
Keep it the same, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're
But they do add
progressing,
people.
right?
They do add people to them, yeah.
And every time they've added people, they've added
Stayed as
worthy
opposed to-
inclusions.
Because who was four? Four was Renner and
Haley Atwell was in contention for us. It wasn't. I don't know if it was four. It was Paula Patton,
Paula Patton,
Renner, Simon
Renner.
Pegg, and
Peg's the only one they really, and Peg and Ving
Josh,
Rhames are the only ones they really
Five
The
is the
dude
only one
from
that's like
Lost
that's been
in
the
the
most
beginning.
consistent.
Oh yeah,
Even
Josh
then,
Holloway.
like,
yeah.
Simon Pegg and
Because of
him have been
JJ
the most. Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and him have been the most consistent across all three.
Yeah.
or across
Which I
Ving's
love.
in all of them.
most
Ving's in
of
all
them
of
since
them.
3.
I'm glad Palm's coming back.
Ving is in all.
I love Palm.
Like I think people forget that Ving Rhames is in every single one of these
Look
movies.
at the dress.
It's
Like
crazy.
they did a great job with this.
It's hard to remember that he's in 2 because he doesn't do anything in 2.
He's just from a distance. They're both from
He
a
just
distance.
kind of
Him and the
shows
Australian,
up. It
bro.
sucks.
Him and the
I wanted to
Australian
do
guy.
stuff in that movie. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a more stuff going on in the second movie, and that's probably what was cut.
Yeah.
That's
In a
who's coming
different
back in
world,
8, the Australian helicopter
Maggie Q-
pilot.
Maggie Q would have been like in a ballerina, like a John Wick spinoff. She definitely that would have been her market.
When does that
It's
movie
crazy
take
that
place
this is like
in the timeline
50 minutes in,
of Wick?
47 minutes in, and this is
But-
the first time I'm ever seeing him again for the since
Yeah.
the opening scene.
Because it's almost you're like,
that's
oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I forgot about that opening scene. That means you're like, oh yeah,
I don't
forgot
know
this
about
fucking
that.
guy's
It's like
here.
they set the tension of the movie so well with it. So
Yeah.
it's like you're like, oh, like now,
Well,
like I
think about
told
it
you,
like this,
now
right?
the movie starts.
Hypothetically, they could have opened that movie without that scene.
They
But-
shouldn't though.
You're right.
Mhm.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying that they hypothetically could have. But all I'm
Mhm.
trying to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
is that
yeah.
if it
Oh,
was
yeah,
someone
you
like
can.
me, 2006 rolls around, I know that if I was the age that I am now, and I loved Philip Seymour Hoffman as much as I did, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm going just for him. And if I had to wait 50 minutes for him to show up, I'd be like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
I also think it was
I
them
wouldn't.
trying to. I think it was them trying
I'm
to.
not
also
saying that that's like a
reboot-
bad thing, but
Yeah,
like when I
trying
went to go see
reboot the series in a
Furiosa,
way.
I watched like the first like 50 minutes and I was like, bro, where is she? Like, bring her
Yeah.
out right now. Where the
Mhm.
fuck is she? The second time I watched
Anya
it,
Taylor-Joy.
I did like it more, but like it took me a while to
for
like
Furiosa?
realize like, yeah, it takes
Yeah.
a minute for her to come in.
It takes a minute, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't
think-
worried
I
about it.
think
I
they
was so
were-
sucked into that story.
I think for this, I think they're rebooting it in quotes, and it's like it's like in their mind, it's like we need to start with like a bang right away. Like You need to have the audience after 2 be like, if you're going to take a long time to set it up again, people are going to be like, same thing again, same movie.
Yeah. They set up the movie and
which
they
is
give
funny
the
that
credits within the first
second one
5
is like the
minutes.
highest grossing movie for a while in this franchise. I can't remember which one beat it. Was it Fallout? Or is it
No, it
still
was
the
I think it
Rogue
was
Nation.
Rogue Nation.
Was it Rogue Nation?
It was either Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol, one or the other.
Because I think people realized like they just kept
I
getting
think it was
better
Rogue Nation,
reviews
to be
as they went
honest.
on, so they're probably like, oh, maybe I'll go back and rewatch these now because they didn't probably really care for them that much.
It was a
Then
good
once
cut.
Ghost Protocol and Fallout come and Rogue Nation, they're like, okay. Then people reassess and rewatch the whole thing and be like, oh,
I love this sequence where like you have Ethan acting like, or Philip Seymour Hoffman acting like.
that's what I was
Ethan
saying.
acting
And I
like
was
him.
like, damn, he's fucking good. And then he's like, when he's climbing that shit, like he's doing it. He's fucking going all out, like jumping up there, like climbing his arches. Like, Philip Seymour Hoffman has no business being this good in this movie.
That's
Well,
kind
you're
of the way
right,
I feel
though.
about
Like,
watching him in like Hunger Games. Like I
Yeah,
don't
it's like-
feel like those movies are amazing,
know.
but he is the best part of them easily.
That's what the only part I hate about that is like it sucks that that's the last things he was in was the Hunger Games.
I
Did
mean,
you see
you
this
got- you
playing
got,
the younger him?
Yeah, we got Jesse Plemons. He played his son in The Master, so it's good. It's I don't
You
know.
know, it's hard to say like I don't care about that movie when they got Jesse Plemons because I'm like, man, like I love Jesse
Dude, that
Plemons,
cast-
man.
That cast is going to be cooking, I think.
the
In a
reason
way
why
that
I like those
he kind of
movies
is
is
like the
they
new, like he
Philip
is
Seymour
like
Hoffman,
what I would
yeah.
say I really cared about Philip Seymour Hoffman for. Like he just brings the energy to any movie he's in.
I met Jesse Plemons.
the Hunger Games movies, they have good themes. I think that's the only reason they get good people. They like, how do you get Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage?
Mhm.
And
They have
obviously,
good themes. I think the only
Ralph
problem is just
Fiennes.
that those movies have like the last 2 movies have some serious structural issues.
Well, it's because
Which
they
ones are you
took
talking
the-
about?
took the
Part
money,
1 and 2,
part
or
one,
are you
part
talking
two.
about
They
Ballad?
took
I'm
the
talking about
money.
Mockingjay, my bad.
Okay. No, you're right. You're right about that.
They didn't need to
Like,
be
they
2
mo-
movies. It could
It
have been like a
one movie, 2.5
3 hours and
hours.
20 minutes,
Yeah.
but they just chose to make it two-part movies because they knew that someone wouldn't sit through 3 hours.
They were complaining about Ballad, like, oh, they should have been 2 movies, this and that. I'm like, no, that was one movie story. And it's like, God forbid you make a pace change for your last act.
Mhm.
And me, I think I'm in the minority. I was just talking to someone, or like when we went to go see Revenge of the Sith, it came up, and I'm like, I'm in the minority of like, I like that movie and I like the third act of that movie a lot.
I like the movie. I like the Hunger Games. This is what I'm talking about. This whole him climbing, like he's doing
I
it.
love it. But see, that's the thing. If you go all the way back to Along Came Polly, go back to Twisters, like even
Same
in the
year as this, I
comedy,
think.
Philip Seymour Hoffman
was
has
04,
always
that was
been a physical actor.
No,
And
he's
his
incredible.
physicality, his performances are always something to be studied, to be watched.
Best man
Because-
in the house.
This man has never not put out a great performance. Like even in Scent of a Woman, Patch Adams, like he's playing villains, he's
Twister.
playing vile, like just boring people. And even then he comes and brings something elegant to it always. So
Fucking Twister, man. Greenwich.
He's great in he's great in Twister.
he's great in everything.
It's the wonder of nature, baby.
I will say this scene right here, like in the bathroom with like the thing not working, this is the genius of like the acting that he's doing. He's doing the level of acting of like he's, you know, whatever. He's Tom, he's Ethan playing Owen, he the layers of it works.
Yeah.
And it's all 100% on him. This gag right here is wild. I love this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he just looks out too. Just...
The amount of actual
Read it.
time that you see both of them on screen at the same time, and then
Fantastic.
they get away with them just doing the cut shots
Yeah.
back and forth
The
because
cuts
it's like
back, yeah.
it's insane how much that would have taken to do both of them at the same
Mhm.
time. Now it would have been a lot easier, but 2006, man, I'm surprised it looked as good as it did for the amount of time
Yeah.
it's on screen.
Let me send you I gotta send you a photo of the behind the scenes for Sinners for there's one shot that in the entire movie where they have like the two brothers, Michael B. Jordan's character Smoke and Stack, like hand a cigarette to each other.
What about
And
the shadows?
That's their first scene
or
that
not,
they're in, right?
or I'll show you. You'll see the behind the scenes, the photo
I
of
know what
like
shot you're talking
the
about. It
monitor.
looks, it's pretty cool.
But like on the monitor, you see like the green screens and all that stuff. Like they did a good job, but it takes work. We have a lot of like double roll stuff this year, and I'm a fan of double roll movies. It's just, I think I'd have a different take on it too. One of my favorite movies, it's called Dawn, 1978 Bollywood movie, where the guy is playing a villain. He's playing a gangster like Owen Davian, and then he dies. And then they find essentially like a street performer who is like taking in like two orphan kids, and he looks exactly like an Owen Davian. And then he becomes that character. So it's like there's layers to it, and then it's kind of the end, like what happens in Face Off, where the one guy that knows that he's undercover actually gets killed. So it's like no one knows that he's actually undercover. It's like a whole thing, but
It's like The Departed.
there's plenty of stuff to be done with like crime movies with doubles and spies, and there's a reason why they have a bunch of these movies with masks, because it works.
You know who would have been great in a Scorsese is Philip Seymour Hoffman. Wasn't in a Scorsese, was he?
What could have been? I think about it a lot. I like I told you, I was like, it's a reminder always, like for anybody listening, it's like if you're ever dealing with any sort of substance abuse, it is always a battle, and it's not a battle you have to have alone.
I do like Cooper, his son though. His son's got
Cooper's
Cooper
good.
Hoffman. He's a good
Nice,
actor.
yeah.
Out of all the Nepo
Between
babies,
Saturday
he's
Night
up there.
and that, uh, what's his name? Gandolfini's son. He's been doing some solid work.
He was in
he was in
Warfare.
he was in he was in Warfare. He was in Daredevil, but he was like basically just like playing like a Tony Soprano. You're like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're like,
he was.
was in,
I
It
see.
was sticky. It was sticky.
Yeah, I was like, I
He was
see
in
what you're
Bo
trying
was
to do.
Afraid as well for like a few. Actually, I don't think you ever saw it, did you, Pat?
I have the Blu-ray. I still haven't watched it.
For what?
He's in
Bo was
Bo was
Afraid.
Afraid.
Oh,
He's in like one scene, and
Maybe I'll
he's
watch it
very
before
minimal screen
Eddington.
time, but
Maybe I'll watch it for Eddington.
I did
I
finish
talked
it.
to
It was
someone who worked
fire.
on Eddington pretty recently, and I'm just so excited for it.
Dude, Pedro, man. He's
So this
fucking
is
weird.
this is a fake Lamborghini that they blew up, but like like fake car, real body. You know, they fabricated a body for it. I think they had a pushback from Lamborghini about it.
No, because they blew it up.
Yeah,
You see how they cut away from him the minute that like
Yeah.
he had to pull off the mask, and
Because
then
they probably just had the mask down to here on his neck, so it just pulls up a little bit.
they probably switched him really quickly because he's off
Yeah.
the screen for a
it
second.
might have been a Texas switch,
Yeah.
or I mean, not a Texas switch, but you know, a switch.
Dude, I want to go through Italy super fast on a boat like that. That would be so fucking cool. I feel like I'd be like a king doing that. Like, yeah, fucking look at me.
How long was that?
It
Scene?
does kind of
Shit.
feel like the Bond stuff though too, like you're saying. Like they were trying to make their own Bond, really.
It's Bondian, but it's not Bondian because there's actually
Yeah.
a team, and like it's more fun in that way than a Bond movie because you have a team. It's much boring to watch one guy do it than a bunch of people do it.
Yeah, but even in the Bond movies, like it does feel like he has a team. It's just that he's the only one that they put on the poster.
He's the one that's
you know what I
doing this
mean?
stuff, yeah.
Well, no, but that's
It
the
just
funny
looks
thing,
like
right?
he is. Whereas
Go to
these movies, it's
Skyfall,
like they are
go to
all out
Spectre.
about him. Though.
Go to Spectre, Skyfall,
Well, I guess
and
if
No
you go
Time to
to-
Die. At least the team is more involved in those movies compared to the older Bond movies.
No, like older
Yeah,
Bond.
but I'm
it's
saying
just
like look at the
I'm
promotional
just
material.
James
Look at all the
Bond.
posters. Look at all the like Blu-ray covers. None of them have a team on there. It's just him.
Yeah,
it's just.
but like they became I wouldn't say they fell victim to it, but like even they started including like groups because they kind of
I
realized
mean,
that
it's just
Bond
what's the word I'm looking
Bond
for?
himself
Like, it's,
is like if you have a a sexualized man or whatever label you want to put on Bond, like not maybe
I mean,
misogynist.
again, that's what they were
I
trying
don't
to do with
know.
him in the second movie with Ethan.
Womanizer,
Like they were
yeah.
trying to make it like he
Yeah.
was a womanizer and he's just not.
Yeah.
That's why it sticks out like a sore thumb.
This is legitimately the level of acting that Heath Ledger was doing in The Dark Knight. And I mean
Yeah.
that in like the greatest way possible. This is some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life. I cannot understate how amazing Philip is in this movie. And it's like everything
Another
is like,
another
you
one
know,
gone too
it's
soon.
all grandiose, like nonsense, but like
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is going in the paint. He's like, and it's like real people who do this would be like actually gonna kill your family. This is
Yeah.
exactly what they would do.
It's just the way he's delivering it. It's just very like he seems like
It's
he's tired. Like he's tired. And like,
exactly
I don't.
no.
What are you doing? Like, I'm gonna come
Compare
after
this
you. Like,
to the interview scene, to the
yeah.
interrogation scene in The Dark Knight.
Hmm. Speaking of another Heath gone too soon. Actually, when I saw Sinners, I went to the Academy Museum before,
Yeah,
saw the Dark Knight outfit again. But then when at City Walk, where they had the 70mm IMAX, they had his Brokeback Mountain outfit there too. I was like, oh, I saw two Heath Ledger
Brokeback's coming
outfits today.
2 days
I've been talking a lot
in
about
May.
Brokeback Mountain recently.
Ang Lee,
Me and
man.
Avery have been talking about like the way that they
Is it
read
being
certain
re-released in
lines.
2 days?
Yeah, for 2 days in May.
They're
In May,
releasing it, yeah. I think it's the 20th.
Because it's the 20th. Yeah. Honestly, I think the studios have noticed that because when I saw Pride and Prejudice, sold out. Render the
Yeah,
Sith, making shit ton of money.
25, 30 million, and
I think
it's still selling tickets here.
It's
they're
focus
realizing
features.
that
They're the ones that know.
yeah, you've put these back in. Like people are gonna go fucking watch them. I'll go watch. I didn't see Brokeback Mountain on the big screen. I'll go watch it on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I hate that they didn't have Pride and Prejudice here. I am pissed because I would have loved
It's
to
still playing
have seen
here. Come to LA. It's still playing.
it. Oh yeah, give me 6 hours or 7. Count 8 hours knowing LAX.
That's maybe why when people saw that today of those double features, they're like, oh, we're gonna put these all in there again. They make money, man. I get more excited to go watch a re-release in theaters now than a new movie.
Depends on the movie.
I think
Yeah, like Sinners, obviously. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, oh, I'm like, for the most part, when I go to see a movie, I'm seeing the movie for like a Ryan Coogler. You know, if I'm going to see, then there's like the movies where I'm like, oh, Friendship. I just want to see that. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm hearing great things about it. Like, let me just go see that. It doesn't matter to me if it's an A24 or anything.
Seeing it this Friday.
Awesome.
I mean, I assume they're going to re-release Jaws in the summer now. It's 40 years. 50 years.
I forget this guy is there the whole time. This guy that's like
Reese.
supposed to be part of the team.
Jonathan Rhys Davis. You mean
they don't
King
give
Henry?
He's very much the fourth man.
He played Henry.
He's the guy in the second movie that drives the helicopter. Like I don't know anything about him. Just shows up. He's part of the team. I don't hate him. I don't mind that he's here. He's just why are you here?
He played Henry the.
He played Henry the Fifth.
Henry the Eighth. Who killed his 4 of his wives. Kenneth Branagh.
The movie doesn't stop from here. That's what I'm saying. The movie does start where I was talking about 40 minutes in. That's exactly where the movie starts because it never stops after that.
These are all such 2006 sunglasses.
They did a great. So with this whole scene, like what's about to happen on the bridge, obviously we're ripping from a True Lies book, but they did their whole thing with this. Like they did a great job with this, and everything from like spraying the yellow foam and getting Davian out, and the drone and everything. It's very much them trying to do their own thing, but they're using other elements from other movies, and that's the formula that Mission Impossible truly actually has been using. Is the let's see what other people have done. Maybe they haven't done it well. Maybe they've done it well. And let's like mix it together in our own pot and make something genuine with it. So, I mean, because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they've all been that.
Where's this bridge at? Isn't it like Florida somewhere?
I mean, the one they shot
on the way to Florida.
The True Lies one is in Key West.
Let me see.
I don't know if I don't think they went to that one for that one.
Let's see. Look at the shooting locations.
Shit.
It's in Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. No? Attack on Convoy on Bridge. I assume it's this. Chesapeake Bay. Here you go. Marina. The more you know. There you go. Chesapeake. In Virginia.
Chesapeake meaning north. Okay. It
Is
does
right
feel
around
New England in this movie.
These digital
Virginia is
scenes,
not in New
man.
England. What map are you looking at? Virginia's not New England. That's like all CGI right there.
Yeah.
There, I don't. For anybody who can't see, Pat is giving me the biggest face of dismay.
Yeah, you said Virginia was in New England. So
Is it not?
No.
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 What is New England
Virginia's
classified
like
as?
Virginia is like DC is next to Virginia because DC is its own like
So after
district.
DC, it's.
I'd say it's next to New England.
Is next. You're gonna say it's next. Do you guys know what a
It's
map
close to
looks
it.
like?
It's close to it. I'll give
Virginia
him
is
that. It's close.
below. Virginia's below Pennsylvania, which is not in New England. New
Bro, I'm
England is
getting
like,
roasted out here because you actually from that area. To the people of the South, that's all. That's all up there. Out of sight, out of mind.
The funniest thing about telling people I'm from Oklahoma is nobody ever remembers where I'm from at my work. So I've heard like Nebraska, I've heard North Dakota, Kansas. No one ever actually
Idaho,
knows where I'm from.
North
I'll be like,
Dakota.
I'm going
Yes,
back
every
home. They're like,
time.
oh, you going back to North Dakota? I'm like, no, I'm going to fucking Oklahoma. Like,
you should just say yes.
No one
every
ever
time,
remembers
so they don't,
Oklahoma
so they don't know
exists.
where you're from. You're from North Dakota, Oklahoma, Nebraska. Just say it every time.
the one that I get the most is Nebraska. I'm like, why is that the one that everyone remembers? And I've never been to Nebraska.
You're an Omaha man.
Omaha. I think it's
I'm gonna
because
tell people-
Oklahoma sounds like Omaha.
I'm gonna tell people you're from Nebraska now. You're from Omaha, Nebraska.
Come on, man, open up. God damn it.
Took a
Guys
50
watching
cal to
me
the
for the
face.
first time on the pod. Can you imagine that? Like just stressing out watching this. Be like, holy shit, this is the first time I'm watching. This is how it goes. Oh, this is a great shot of him like running and then it
Oh, the
like,
pole,
hits the car.
the wire pull.
Because
Yeah.
he's on the wire pool. Yeah.
I've definitely seen how they did this before, but it's impressive when you see it in the film.
Yeah. I think this is their big selling point when this movie came out was him being that wire pool.
This was in the trailers
Yeah.
everywhere. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
That slide to get the gun was in the trailer a lot too. Damn, it take a long time to rebuild this bridge. Yeah, this is very like James Bond in a sense.
It's action movie.
But it's its own thing.
work,
It's its own thing, yeah.
But it's like it's competent like all around. It's competent work. It's like I wouldn't compare it to Michael Bay. Maybe I'd compare it to Michael Bay.
What
Except this is
the only thing Ving Rhames is doing in this scene is just yelling Ethan.
Ethan,
look
it's
out,
literally
move!
the G36s are. Oh, here we
Right
go.
here.
Here
Oh,
we
it's
go.
coming. There
Oof.
it is.
Boom. Nice.
The shot of
I
that
think
jet
this
flying over
movie-
too is pretty solid, man. Like I think that's a really good selling point.
Yeah.
This is the stunt for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is.
I mean,
this is their
besides the
big
run
I
at
think
the
at
end,
the
but
end
this
with
is
him
like
running
this
too,
is
but like this
this is the big
stunt.
like set piece. This is the only set piece they. I
Sure
mean,
money,
technically, the last scene was kind of a set piece. I mean, it's a heist scene, and then now this is a set piece.
shot very like war documentary type vibe here.
There's zooms and
yeah.
there's the
very shaky,
shaky.
very close up shaky. Yeah.
Yeah, the zoom lens, shaky camera. It's a specific style, but then again, they don't use this style
Standard budget.
again for any
They
of the
don't.
other
It's only
movies they
because
did.
it's JJ.
that's what I was saying.
No,
I was like,
I mean, even
this movie
JJ,
shot
like
so many close ups.
like JJ in sense of like
There's a
you know,
trailer. There's a trailer shot of him getting out of that.
what is it? Star Trek, Super 8, Star Trek Into Darkness, the two
Star
Star
Trek is
Wars
shot like
movies.
that too, and all of the shots of him like shaking the camera are people just sitting down. So it's like I get like why
Yeah.
you did it. You think you
Mhm.
need to create more energy in the camera, but like at the end of the day, like I don't think Star Trek looks bad by any means. All I'm saying is just that like it's very of its time. Like
Yeah, it
a
is.
lot
It
of movies
is.
were shaking cameras just for fucking whatever
Mhm.
reason. The Bourne series was doing that.
Orange. No.
Yeah. But it looks good. Like the work is good. And because like you can for every JJ movie, there's 10 other movies that are ripping that style and not doing it well.
Yeah,
Because
I mean he
in
has his own
Super
style of
8,
doing
he doesn't
that.
have Super 8. He doesn't have like any just shaky stuff.
Hey,
No.
how far are we
Larry
into this
Fong
movie?
shot that
Like
one.
an hour in.
Hour 10.
We got a moment of a little downtime for a second. Well, let's shout out someone on the pod that just always is plugging us on Twitter. Tony
Tony.
Michael.
My man
Tony
Tony.
Michael or Mickle? I would think it's
Tony,
Michael. He'll
I
correct
hope
me if I'm wrong.
I hope
Tony,
Tony's on his run right now.
He's
and he's
gonna
gonna be like,
light
yo,
up.
that's the homies.
I hope Tony's
He's gonna
listening.
light up.
Buddy, we hope you know that you are always listening and we are doing these episodes. And as we were planning to do this episode, I remember thinking like I gotta give Tony a shout out on the pod as we're recording. So here's to Tony.
No, definitely.
Hope you're doing
Tony,
well,
dude.
bud.
We love you, man.
Yeah, keep that heart rate up, bro. Keep it going. Yet again,
Oh,
look at these
that's gonna make
zooms.
his day. That's gonna make his day.
Oh, this is DC. You saw the I think it's the Lincoln Memorial in the
Yeah.
back.
No, he's talking about this is New England. What are you talking about?
It's New England to me.
That little
It's New
tiny-
England
Dude,
in my
that looks like
heart.
that little like
DC's
you
in
know that
Boston,
little TV
bro.
that she had. That looks like that little Casio monitor that Nolan
Yeah.
has.
No, that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Yo, why are we in the
So
shower
funny.
with Michelle? Like legitimate.
She's vulnerable. That's the whole point.
Showing her vulnerability, and he's trying
It's
to
showing
call
us
her.
what
Little
she doesn't-
Hiscock.
She can't have anyone reaching her if she's in the shower. That's the whole point.
That's very true, sir. That is not a road.
Bro, looking creepy as hell with the hair.
Bro, that guy looks like Harry Dean Stanton, low key.
I was gonna say he either
mixed
looks
with,
like a rock
Crispin
star.
Glover. Mixed with Crispin Glover.
Marty McFly comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's a peeping Tom.
He's a peeping Tom.
Could you imagine going back in time and realizing your dad's just a fucking creep? Like, Jesus.
So this is the way that the first movie is set in Europe a lot. This is the one that's set up in America a lot.
Post 9/11.
Yeah. In Virginia of all places specifically, right? Right there in, Pentagon area.
No.
I will say there's not enough movies set in DC. I feel like just the
for the
architecture
pinnacle.
there.
Pinnacle, all the president's men.
What about White
Yeah.
House Down? What about Olympus Has Fallen?
Nope.
What about Angel Has Fallen?
What about X2
Actually,
X-Men United?
If they
God, Vikash, watch a fucking movie.
What about National Treasure?
said,
Bro, National Treasure.
have
book
they,
of secrets?
that's exactly Dan Brown, one of the Robert Langdon books, it's called The Lost Symbol, and it could have been like a dramatic version of a National Treasure movie.
Did they make that movie?
I
No.
think they made a TV
They
show.
made it into a show. And
Amazon Prime,
it was
right?
What was the?
Yeah,
What was
no,
the
it was
third
like a
one?
Peacock.
Inferno.
Oh yeah, it was
that's-
Peacock. You're right.
Yeah. I didn't watch Inferno. I couldn't get through.
Yo, you know who
Lost
goes
Symbol.
hard in the first Da Vinci Code movie? Hans fucking Zimmer. That score.
Yeah.
He's fucking ripping. That
I
movie's
I
very
I still remember watching. Yo, is that my man from
ending?
Psych? It is that my man from Psych. That's my man right there too.
You guys remember how fucking crazy people were going for the Da Vinci Code when that movie came out?
Dude, that
I don't know
book
about
was
that.
That thing was
insane.
everywhere. I remember that. I didn't even watch it till I was older, but that thing was everywhere.
I saw Da Vinci
The
Code. I
the
saw
coolest
the
part of
last
that movie is the
hour of the
end, his
movie.
last shot. It's
Yeah,
the coolest
I
part
saw
of
the
that
last
movie.
hour of the movie, and then the movie
have
ended,
the
and then the
Blu-ray,
movie
so-
was coming on again. Like the movie was on at like 7, and then the movie was on again at like 10. So like I watched the last hour, and then I stayed up, and then I watched the actual like the first part of the movie. Then I like
watched
actually
it
caught the full
backwards.
story. Yeah,
Yeah,
But it's
you were
like,
you were in a
like the
movie
movie-
in 1950.
the movie caught me right away. Like whenever I was watching, I was like, I don't know what this is, and like there's just stuff about Jesus and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on, but it seems cool as hell.
All this
cool.
stuff with Billy Crudup is pretty good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
this is finally we're at the portion of like the spy work.
Dude, he's Hannibal Lecter.
I was gonna say we were mentioning Anthony Hopkins earlier.
Dude, if they brought in Anthony Hopkins with Ethan having that mask on, that'd have been
I think the
fucking-
pinstripe had to be Lawrence's idea. If that's what it feels like.
But what I think about Lawrence in this movie, like even the last scene he was just in, when he asked him about like where Ethan was, he kind of had like a smirk
Yeah.
on his face that he was like impressed.
Yeah,
Like
and that's the
that's
thing.
why
they,
that's why I'm surprised at the end of this because he like likes Ethan. It was like they just never brought him back.
and they brought attention with Alec, and he ends up becoming part of the team, and then they, pew pew him, and it's
Again,
like
I don't know. Maybe he is an
Pew, pew.
eight and will just appear. He appears
They-
in eight. I don't know.
that's what I'm saying. It could have been just a timing thing where it's like he definitely could have came back in some sort of capacity as like, the bureaucrat or whatever from IMF, and they could have had great tension within that. And maybe Lawrence was just like, F y'all, like I'm out. I don't
I don't
want
want to
this.
do this. Yeah.
I already did
Or
it.
maybe he's like, I already did a franchise. I don't want to be tied
Yeah.
down no more. Even though he was
And it's
already in the.
The most,
But now he's in all the wicks. So.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the most thing he's been tied down with is Wick, and he's great in the Wicks.
Yeah.
I love him as the Bowery King. The opening of John Wick 4 with him like monologuing is crisp. Is a cinema. It really is.
I think John Wick 4 is out of the four the best one. It's easily the best one. It's so
I mean, it's
good.
2, 4, 1, 3 for me, even though I like them all.
You told me
think
your
4 is
favorite
the
was
best
the
one, but 2 is my
Continental
favorite.
television series.
What's up?
I said you told me your favorite was the Continental television series. That was your favorite.
This
John
this
Wick?
motherfucker. This motherfucker. So today of all days, they have released a trailer for Weakest Pain. It's like a little like documentary about like
Oh,
John
yeah,
Wick
yeah.
and how it came to be. And I'm like, y'all shot this whole thing. Y'all ended the franchise. Spoilers for John Wick 4, but John Wick is dead. And y'all want to make it John Wick 5. Like, screw y'all.
Did you guys watch John Wick in theaters, the first one?
Yeah.
I have kind of like an interesting
No, I didn't
like
actually.
experience with the
I
first
blind bought the
movie.
Blu-ray. I didn't see it. I blind bought the Blu-ray
So
for $7.
I remember distinctly like the trailer. No, the poster. I went to go see Gone Girl in theaters,
Yeah.
and I went to go see it, and I remember seeing the poster for John Wick and the tagline that said "Don't set him off." I was just like, Keanu, like, what are you doing here, man? Like, this looks bad. I was like, and I remember distinctly thinking, like, these are the kind of movies that like action stars go to when their career has died, and it's just like VOD movies. And I was like, no, this can't be like his turning point. And then, sure enough, a few weeks later, maybe a month later, the movie came out in theaters, and like people were talking about it online. And then I went to go see it, and I was like, yo, like, there's no fucking way. Is this good?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening after I saw John Wick was every time I was with friends or I was anywhere, I became that guy. I was like, yeah, have you all seen John Wick? Like, guys, we gotta watch it. We gotta watch it.
I think that also shows the power of how Tom Cruise is one of the greatest movie stars of all time because he never fell into that straight to VOD
Yeah, he never
action
did.
movie. What majority of those actors from his time are doing.
Yeah. And these are also movies where I'm like, oh, like when Ghost Protocol came, I'm like, have you all seen Ghost Protocol? Go see it. I remember when Rogue
I
Nation
remember
came
showing.
out.
I showed my cousin John Wick, and he didn't like it up until the part when they said they killed John Wick's dog. The dog was or they stole John Wick's car, and the guy goes, "Oh fuck," like that, and he was just like, "Oh," and then he's hit this sledgehammer into the ground, and he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm getting locked in." I was like, "Oh yeah, it's going."
The first
gotta
like
lock in a
15
little
minutes
bit.
of that movie. Yeah. First 15 minutes of
Yeah,
that
you're
movie,
like,
I have to
"Eh,
be
it's
like, yo,
alright."
like
Yeah, you
let
gotta-
him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah.
Because like every
He's
time
like,
I
he's-
showed the movie, I didn't tell anybody what happened. I didn't tell him like the dog died. It's just like I'm telling you, this is a good action movie.
They killed his dog and stole his car. Who was it? John Wick. Oh,
Family. I got my sister. Oh wait, I don't want to get copyrighted in bite.
you know, I've only been copyrighted twice, so I think you're fine. I don't think
I
my
didn't
podcast is big enough for them to copyright me.
I don't need UMG coming after you. Even though Universal probably doesn't own the rights to We Are Family. I mean, this Get Up. Have y'all seen the Saint, right? 97. It reminds me of that.
This reminds me of the fucking Americans.
I
It's like a
mean,
Matthew Reese look.
true.
No, you know what look that is? That's Born on the 4th of July, Tom Cruise. That's who it is. Literally, I think it's the same look.
He needs
Oliver
to sport that
Stone.
look a little bit more. I like
Let's
it.
look. Let's look.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
So I don't think they actually shot in China. Just like thinking about it, did I tell you
I
I
can tell
haven't
you
seen
right
this movie in like 5 or
I can tell
5
you right
years
now
at
if they
least.
did. They did.
I watched it
Canal
like
They
a
did?
year or
China.
two ago. I
Now
think I
seen
watched it right
China,
before.
Shanghai.
Did Final Reckoning come out
20.
last year? Or no, Dead
23.
Reckoning come out last year?
23.
Okay, so then yeah, I watched this 2 years ago.
What's crazy is when we went through a whole writer's strike, and it almost feels like it didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Bro, just throw a beanie on him. Look. Throw a
Yeah, I
beanie
see
on
it.
him. And we got
Yeah, Born on the 4th of July. It's one of his
See?
good
Throw the
movies.
beanie on him. You got
I was so locked in. I was like, what the fuck is he showing me?
As a culture, we don't
Yeah,
talk
beanie.
about Oliver Stone movies enough. What do y'all think?
I like
think
Oliver Stone.
But it's
JFK
like-
fucking rips, dog.
no, but it's like we just
JFK.
don't talk about him, you know? Like, I mean, you know, at some point I brought up the Natural Born Killers conversation, you know. Obviously Platoon, throw it back to, you know, Wall Street, everything else he's done, you know, back then. He definitely had the sauce.
I never saw Snowden.
No
Snowden
need.
is pretty good. Snowden is pretty solid. Get the fuck
It's
out
solid.
of here. He said no
It's
need.
solid. It's solid, but I would prefer that people watch Citizen 4.
Watch
I
fucking
like both,
JFK.
to be honest with you.
No, I like them both, but it's just like, you know,
That's one of the best
if you
portraits I've
compare
seen.
Snowden to everything else he's done, it's just,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
What if Snowden was the only?
it's a
audience
7.
that
It's not a bad movie.
I think it's worth it just for the Joseph Gordon-Levitt performance, just because
He's
it's really
good.
it's been a minute since we've seen him do anything that's
Tom's,
not.
Tom's worked with a lot of top actors.
JGL's been back. He's been
Top
back.
actors, directors, top actor.
What has he
had
been
a
back in?
four.
'Cause I haven't seen him in anything.
Okay, did you watch Trial of Chicago 7?
Oh, never mind.
We
You're
talking
right.
about?
He is back. I just haven't
Did
seen
you
him.
watch? You should just even if you don't watch the whole season of what do you call it? Poker Face. His episode Escape from Shit Mountain's actually pretty good.
Who are we talking
Ryan
about?
Johnson directed that one.
Right.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He
Yeah,
had
he
this
was good in
movie,
that. That was the best episode of that season.
Flora and Sons, or Flora and Son. Is that? Am I saying it right? That was a good movie too.
I'm looking at the directors. Tom's worked with Coppola, Scorsese, Tony Scott,
Stanley Kubrick.
Ridley Scott, Oliver
Legend.
Stone, Ron Howard,
Nolan.
Sidney
Wait, no.
Pollack,
Has he worked? He hasn't worked with Nolan. Never mind.
Rob Reiner, Sidney Pollack,
Scorsese.
Palma, fucking De Palma, Cameron Crowe, John Woo, PTA,
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, Michael
Twice.
Mann.
Who can say they work with Spielberg twice in a lead role besides Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks is like, I got 5. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he's just with Macquarie now. But yeah, Tom, he was. I don't think younger generations realize how big of a star Tom Cruise was.
I think the
And
problem with
he's
He's
Joseph
still
kinda
pretty
Gordon-Levitt
big, man.
He's
I
think he is the last movie star. Like he literally is
Yeah.
the last movie star.
him and Will Smith, maybe
Still
Denzel.
has. I don't think Will Smith has that draw anymore. It's Tom. I think Tom. I guess it depends on how well the new one does. But I think Tom still has that draw.
I think he does too. I think what fucked him over last time was just
Like
the fact that
yeah,
Oppenheimer and Barbie were
yeah.
dropping the next week, and it's like I'm not saying that didn't stop people from seeing Mission Impossible, but like imagine
It didn't give it legs.
yeah. It
the
didn't give it,
yeah, like people
Release it
weren't
a
going to
month-
be able
a
to
month
sit there and
later,
be
you're
like,
gonna
oh,
fucking,
like yeah, like let's go see Mission Impossible on its second week, the same week that Oppenheimer and Barbie is
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah.
And people already are complaining about how expensive theater prices are. A lot of people don't know that A-list and like Regal Unlimited is a thing. You know that?
I know.
I
Which
had
is
someone
crazy.
ask me like pretty frequently. I feel like I get it all the time, where they're like, "How do you go to the movie so often? It's so expensive." And I'm like, "Dude, like, I pay $25 a month, and I get to
Yeah.
see up to 12 movies.
I think they're
Remember
like,
I
they're
told
On
you
upping it
top
in
of
about
that,
that?
May,
being able
right?
to see movies early for free, like it's so easy.
Yeah. They're upping it
I
in
told you
May
about the
to
woman in New
30.
York who was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like if y'all don't know, like you can go see movies and there's this thing," and she was making this like cutesy video, and it was genuinely a wholesome video, and it's like within the last
Yeah,
like
people
five
don't
months.
realize it. I
Yeah,
remember
I
seeing
think
that video.
A-list is going to 30 in May, but they're giving you 4 movies a week now. It's like
Yeah,
there's
so
Cabin at Three. It's
16
like,
now.
and the
I mean,
Burbank
even
theater I go to, like, there's plenty of movies I can see. There's 4 movies I can see a week easily there.
I've
and
only
I
ever used the 3 movies in 1 week like twice, and even then, it's like
I usually do. I'll usually do like a double feature one day and then just like one on like another day.
a weekday.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
that
do two
shot
double features. I usually just go during the week
like
now.
him sitting on the edge of the building reminds me of The Dark Knight.
yeah, 100%.
I
That's
remember
exactly what I thought of.
remember Movie Pass?
Yeah, that's what I had. I mean,
Dude, I had Movie Pass before anyone even knew about Movie Pass. I saw
Movie
I
Pass
saw
still is
200.
back. You know that?
I saw 215 movies with Movie Pass before it was Movie Pass. When it went to
Jeez.
$10 a month,
Their new
When I
system
went
I've
to
heard
10,
is
I
actually
was
pretty
like,
good.
I went to 10. I was like, "There's no way this is financially viable. I'm going to A-list. Like, there's no way."
I mean, we don't have A-list here, but you know, I've made it work. I told
I'm
Martin
not
about
saying
it
that Movie
off the
Pass
pod.
You got
changed
Regals there?
anything, but also like
What?
Movie
That's how
Pass.
A-list. That's how
If
A-list
Movie Pass
became a
didn't
thing.
exist,
because of
A-list
Movie
wouldn't have
Pass.
been a thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm not saying that they did anything right. They lost a shit ton of money, but also like,
Mhm. Yeah.
without them, A-list probably wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Yeah, people who have A-list and they don't go to movies more than once a
Yeah.
month. Yeah, people
I
like
think
me who go
A-list,
3 or 4 times a week, and it's
I
like,
mean, even if you
Works in
like
its
put it this
favor.
way, a movie on a Tuesday here, even without what do you call it? Without A-list is $6, and you know, if you
But, like,
wanted to see a
with
movie a
A-list,
week,
though,
that's $24 a month
saw
still.
I saw
It's
Sinners in 70mm IMAX with my A-list. It was free
Good.
technically.
I mean,
Like,
for me, it's like
I paid the
$27.
$25, the monthly fee, and I'd already seen 2 movies up to that point when it were renewed. Sinners was free, 70mm IMAX.
We're currently in the third week of Sinners, and the theaters
Thunderbolts
for
about to
IMAX
take
are
over.
still packed. Yeah, they're still packed. Like today is a Wednesday, and the theaters are still packed. And
dude, they're losing those
I'm
screens
glad
to
to see it.
Thunderbolts. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if
They're
I
gonna
didn't
bring it
realize
back
it's like
here,
Thunderbolts, and then I didn't realize that Final Destination they shot in IMAX too.
especially formatted,
And
quote unquote. Get
yeah,
outta
and
here.
I'm like, are you gonna take screens away? But I was like, maybe they'll put Sinners back in after, like during that
They will.
end of the month, right before, or maybe they'll wait
Nah,
till like June.
they're
'Cause Mission
planning like
Impossible
another
Theater?
proper
come on,
release for that. I think they want to give people the reason to like
go back
don't get me wrong.
again
I'm
later
not saying
this
that
year.
like I'm not saying that I want to lose those screens to Thunderbolts, but at the same time, like if they're losing them to Thunderbolts, they already lost them, right?
Yeah,
Give
And
it
you're
a
losing
few
Mission
months, they're
Impossible
definitely going to
again.
re-release that.
Like
1,000%
Martin,
they are.
You know how I was telling you they had like Interstellar here whenever there's lulls? Now that
Yeah.
Sinners has done well, instead of having, you know, Interstellar, they're gonna have Sinners for now.
You gotta let me know when that happens again, because I'll just drive down there for that.
If it
They'll
happens,
have
I'll
Mission,
let you
yeah.
know.
I mean, Mission Impossible is going to be
Or not if,
two,
whenever
3
it does
weeks
happen, I'll
this
tell you.
month.
Yeah, when.
Actually, I'm coming your way, or I'll tell you afterwards. But
No, you should
like-
tell them all the details right now on the pod.
Yeah, dox me. Make sure everyone knows where I live.
no, it's not even. It's more.
He
what
lives
I
in
have to
Washington
tell you
D.C.,
is-
which is in
I'm in
Boston.
Atlanta, Georgia. Catch
He's
me in
in
the
New
movies.
England.
He
He's in New
lives
England.
in Decatur. He
In
lives
Virginia,
across the
Pat,
street.
same shit.
Nah, he lives in Atlanta. He
Man,
lives
I don't
on
know.
Church Street in Decatur. There's a bunch of brown people around him.
Virginia was part of the South in the Civil War. Did you know that? You probably didn't know that.
Yes,
It's not
I
in
know
New
that.
England.
I know it was a part of the South. Appomattox Courthouse, you know.
You know what I think
where
about
he
a lot?
surrendered.
You guys remember whenever Civil War was coming out and they released a map of like what states were like loyal to what
Yeah.
states?
Yeah.
And then it's never addressed in the fucking movie. And they were like, yeah, we're going to address this in the movie. Like, fuck off.
Marketing.
Shut the fuck up. Nothing happened in that movie. I liked it, but they did not show a fucking thing.
Because it's not the point of the movie. They
Yeah,
No, I get that. I'm not
He's just
I'm
like-
not dogging on the movie, Vikash. I'm saying
No,
I like the
no,
movie.
I
I'm
know,
just
but
saying,
it's like
there's
I
no
think
point
it's
to
the
show that.
genius of the movie is that like you have all this information is there if you want it, but it's like to the narrative itself it doesn't matter. I think there's a scene in Civil War where there's a couple guys that are like in whatever those mossy suits, and they're in a shootout, and they don't even know who they're shooting at, and it's just like that's the confusion of war right there. Like they encapsulated it perfectly.
Oh yeah,
I feel like they were trying to just set up a little love scene right
they
there
did. They
between
did.
them
100%
two.
they did.
Yeah. Also, what I loved
And
when I
then
was
they never
rewatching this,
brought him back for 4.
when I was rewatching this though, I was like, I kind of like how they didn't even show him in that entire room. He's like, it's like look up, look up, look up, and they just like he's just already out. We didn't need to see the action set piece again.
They ran out
I
of
hated
budget.
it as a kid.
Yeah, they ran out of money.
I hated it as a kid, and
was a
then now I
pickup
like
shot.
it.
I asked JJ that. He's like, we just ran out of money.
There's a scene in Super 8 where they I think it's with the kids, and there's something, if I remember correctly, it was something about the music or like getting the kids together. There's some sort of issue at hand, and there's a scene in Super 8 where like the kids get picked up and they're all together in the car, and it's like a really fun scene.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
they-
with them singing that song.
Yeah, my
yeah.
Sharona. Yeah.
And they literally just shot it in like the parking lot. And I think the opening scene of Star Trek Into Darkness is also in the parking lot at like Bad Robot. But that's much more like crazy, like they built a whole set sort of situation. I'm bringing that. I don't know. I heard that story like 8 years ago. It's been a long time.
I'm looking up how much
Sorry.
money this movie made compared to the second movie. This stunt was real too, with them doing
Yeah.
this.
They brought this
That's
back
a-
a
That's a
tad,
light.
tad
That's a light
bit
Monday
in
morning for Tom.
in
A
what
truck
was
going
it?
over him. It's a light Monday morning.
Truck no, in Tron Legacy, the opening,
Damn.
just a little bit.
Bomb.
They
No,
they
I'm
copied
looking
this.
at the numbers of what these movies made.
I mean, this one made 300 something, right? 400 max.
How much? Don't tell Pat because I don't think he knows. How much money do you
Okay.
think this movie made compared to the second movie?
I do not know.
Less.
I'm not.
I mean, it made less for sure because the second one definitely like it was the highest
It was
grossing
going
film
off
in
the
the franchise
laurels.
for a while.
Did the second one make like $500 million?
The second one made $550 million.
Yeah,
Jesus
that sounds about right.
Christ.
This one made 399
Yo,
million.
Adjust that for inflation.
Yeah.
It's almost 800 million. That's insane. For the second one, how much did this one make?
Action movies don't make that money anymore. It's crazy.
How much did this one make?
I mean,
399 million.
put it
That's
this
solid.
way:
That's-
do they release any action movies like this that's not a superhero movie anymore?
Not really.
That isn't
They go
Mission
straight to streaming.
Impossible. Like,
yeah,
it,
John
and
Wick,
it, like y'all
I
know
guess.
this. Like this sort of movie is my bread and butter, and it hurts me that this stuff is put on streaming because for the most part it's trash. Like,
what we talked
back
about
in
earlier,
action.
Michelle Monaghan, Eagle Eye, like that. I think that movie made a lot of money.
Eagle Eye
It
was
is a
a
good one.
fucking banger. Like that movie is
Eagle Eye is
not
good.
amazing, but it
Eagle
made
Eye,
a lot of money.
I mean,
But like the
$80 million
competency of like
budget,
the plot
that movie
itself and
made-
like the
I mean,
elements are really good.
yeah, 80 million. Eagle Eye made 178 million, but you put Eagle Eye in theaters now, that shit's barely making 20, if that.
No, it'll make like 40.
Like,
It
I
would
mean,
make more
but
money
it's-
on
you know what?
streaming. Like the minute
You
it
know
goes
what's-
on
you know
like
what's
Apple
insane?
TV.
But
even,
yeah,
like,
where
digital
are you making
retailers.
money?
there's a
Where are you actually making money on streaming? They're not.
No,
Besides,
I'm not saying streaming. I'm saying like the video digital markets, like Apple TV,
This is-
Amazon.
this is
rental.
how-
Okay, okay,
this is
understood,
how-
understood.
This is how
Yeah.
this is how streaming has killed theatrical releases. Up in the Air, 2009, $25 million budget. Guess the
Bro,
box office.
throw it to Black Bag. Black Bag made like,
No,
I think Black
guess-
Bag bombed.
Guess the box office of Up in
It
the Air.
didn't bomb.
on
It just didn't make a lot of money.
$25
pretty
million
decent.
budget.
80 to 100.
$166 million.
Jeez, man, that's fantastic. That is
That you-
fantastic.
You put that movie in theaters now, that shit's probably barely getting 10.
How much did Parasite make? Parasite made like 100 million, and that movie, it
That
had legs because of the
too,
Oscars.
Yeah.
But it's
I
like
remember opening
that's
weekend, I saw
that's
Parasite, and I was like one of 5 people that was there, and then
Yeah,
it
no
was
one-
like pictures and
Parasite made
released it, and like it
258
was
million.
fucking sold out.
Parasite made 258 million.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
Made
Look at
crap!
the numbers on like
made
when it
for-
started making money though, because it didn't make much money
Later,
on its initial
much-
release.
it was
like
made
2
money
or 3
months later.
when they
It was-
re-released it. Yeah,
Like if I saw
was
the movie in
towards the end of the
October,
year.
everyone else saw the movie in January. That's what it felt like to me. Like at least with the regular people.
Yeah, it's like I always Up in the Air is the one I always point to. Like that movie released today the movie made $168 million. That is insane.
How much does Social Network make? Because that
It
movie is
made
a
a lot of
lean
money,
machine of a
Vikash, because
budget.
people liked it.
That's your number one film all time. I don't know why you
Actually,
keep denying this.
I mean,
It made
I moved it up
224
to a
million.
9. I moved it up a point.
224
And
million.
it's like 224 million?
Yep, on a 40 million budget.
Jeez. We used to make movies, man.
Yep. And they
We used
make
to
money.
make movies, bro.
They used to make money.
We used to make movies, bro.
It's disheartening to hear because it's like I watched Social Network 2 days ago, and
this
that's a
making
Razor
400
movie.
million
That's a
is
metal
like,
movie.
this movie, like this type of movie, would make $400 million in the 2000s. Like, it's people went to see movies like this.
You know what my problem is? People
Movie
have
opened at
lost their
number
theater
one.
etiquette, and they also have lost respect for the theatrical
Yeah.
experience
Mhm.
itself. And
But yeah, I remember when I was
I mean,
growing up. Like,
I'm not gonna feed into that any more than I need to, but like I've told you guys what I do. I work in home theater
yeah,
sales,
Mhm.
and I also work on sets whenever I can, like whenever I get the opportunity to do that. Hearing what I hear at both of these jobs is infuriating at times because it's like on one hand, like it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying here, and I get what you're saying at this other job, but like people come in to buy these home theater sales, like this home theater sales job that I have, and they literally say like, why do I need to go to the theater anymore if I have this at home, right? Like we don't need to
Mhm.
go to the theater anymore. We have streaming, and then the same thing with like people who are at that other job where they're literally creating what we see on screens. It's like
Mhm.
they're saying essentially the same thing and they're doing it.
Yeah.
and why are people going to see Pride and Prejudice? This is becoming a thematical conversation for this whole conversation. Actually, right? We're bringing it back
Yeah.
around. Why
I
are
really
they
feel like
re-releasing movies?
if you
They
really
don't make
release
movies
Because
like they
we
used to.
want to see
They
these
just really
movies.
don't.
We want to see good movies in the
don't, yeah.
theater. It's an experience. It's not an experience because I pulled out my phone and I yelled chicken jockey. I'm pulling
Yeah.
out an experience because this is oddly highly
When I
sexual.
saw
But
Pride and Prejudice in theaters,
This is
I
your
yelled
John. This
chicken
is your
jockey,
John Woo
actually.
moment. That was your John Woo little montage there.
but
But even if you release Mission Impossible 3 in theaters like this week, I bet you it makes a decent amount of money.
I would go see it.
I don't
I'd go
know.
see it.
I don't know if
I'd go
Mission
see
Impossible
3
3
through
would. Because
3 and 3 through.
I hear where you're
No,
coming
yeah.
from, Pat, and I want to say that like I'd have hope for it, but let's be real. The reason that something like Revenge of the Sith is making money is because of the demographic that grew up with it. That
Yeah.
demographic
Oh,
is
yeah.
now teenagers, people who are my age, 26 or 27 or so, 30
Yeah.
years old, people who love Star Wars. Star Wars is just like an
Yeah.
ingrained demographic in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice made money, I would assume, right?
That's an ingrained.
But
That's
it
an
was how
ingrained
long? Like a
culture
week?
too.
Grained 200-year-old novel. So
But the
Mission
women,
Impossible would have to like
the
really
sound
put in there that
of
they're re-releasing all
Mr.
the movies in theaters, or they like I don't think they would make money. And the only reason that they wouldn't
yeah,
release all of them in
yes.
theaters is because 2 would not make any money.
4 through 5 would
Yeah.
make money.
4
Unless
through
you did
5
like
would
a
make money.
marathon.
Absolutely, they
Unless
would.
you did a marathon over like
Right,
a
but
24
who's
hour.
gonna sit through a whole marathon of these movies?
Yeah.
Once a week,
But
I
you
could
have to buy the
definitely do.
ticket.
But
You
I
have to
would
buy
tell
the
you
ticket to the
this.
marathon.
Yeah, I would tell you this though. They re-release all these in theaters. I'm skipping 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
and I know you would too. And the studio knows that
Yeah.
everybody would skip 2 as well.
Yeah. All right. We'll find out next year. 20-year anniversary. Mission Impossible
They are
3 in theaters.
re-releasing. They are. I don't know where they're doing it, but they are doing screenings of Final Reckoning and Dead Reckoning Part 1, like a double feature for the new
Yeah, I
one.
could see that. Yeah.
I've seen
So
it.
5
I don't
hours
know
in the
where, but
theaters.
I've seen it before.
6 hours in the theaters.
I think what they're
For
doing is
me-
they're doing Part 1 and then immediately after just playing Part 2, and it's like opening night or something like that.
It would be fun to do, but I mean, I just want to see the new movie.
6 hours. Yeah.
But I'm different in the sense that like these movies like live in my brain a bit. So it's like I know what's going on. But it would be good to see it again in the theaters, I guess. I mean,
Have you guys ever been to like a double feature for a re-release at all? It's like a movie theater that's
No.
showing 2 movies at the same night, or
No.
like 2 movies that are sequels.
I don't think
Never.
so. Because when I saw the Lord of the Rings last year when they did the
They're like a
extended,
week
they were all
apart.
it was over 3 days. It was 3 days in a row. but it wasn't like all
Yes,
in
you
one
see,
day.
like that makes sense because it's like three-hour
So
movies. I
long.
think that they would
Yeah.
make sense to do
It was
them like
like
that.
it was Saturday, Sunday. Then they put the longest one on a Monday, like at 7 p.m. Like I took off the next day.
That shot
afterward.
right there of Cardup, where they do the focus in on
The rack
him.
back, yeah, the rack focus back, yeah.
No, but it's like that's the best filmmaking where right there because it's like
Well, it's
he's
Ethan's
coming into
eye.
focus with the
Ethan's
story.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's like it's also like the tension of like the story tension of like he is like Ethan's realizing he's the guy who's actually the bad guy here.
Yeah.
So
Which sucks because I
all
want
it takes is it reminds me of
I mean, he only gets shot and just falls
Mike
down.
Nichols.
At least right.
There's a shot in The Graduate where I think it's the daughter and it's like there's a slow focus into her of like her realizing what the situation is between him and the mom. And it's just like it's the small little details of like visual filmmaking that make your movie.
A great
It's the dialogue you're not saying.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
that's a
worked with
good
Mike
reveal
Nichols.
for the mask. I think good
Charlie
use of
Wilson's
mask in this
War.
movie.
Yeah. Fantastic use. Because it's like we went the whole movie thinking that, that Julia gets killed, right? But she's not actually dead. So it's like we're reestablishing the actual tension now.
Yeah,
And he's
and I think
explaining
as
what's
well
been
with like
going
the
on.
masks, like it's used in such sparing moments, like those two moments that it's like when it's actually used, it's like, oh shit, like that's a good reveal.
And
Seeing
it's a
this for the
spy
first
thing.
time, I was
It's
like,
the
no.
it's the spy turncoat thing, right? You have to have turns. You have to like have the cat and mouse game. And it's like where you pull out the
Whenever we saw this for the
stops.
first time, she saw that Julia got killed, and she was like, I don't want to watch the rest of these, and I was like, just keep watching, like.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
And then the
Is the focus off in this shot, or is it just me?
little
Of Tom.
soft, yeah. It's more focused on his
Soft?
eyes.
But what are you using like a specific lens that's causing that? Like what the heck is that?
Just a shallow f-stop.
Focus blur, yeah. But notice when
It's also the angle. That's
when,
what it is.
yeah, and when what's his face Billy Crudup came into the shot, the camera immediately flipped over to the other side of the 180.
Yeah.
Completely different conversation
Yeah.
now.
It's the small details, man. It's
Yeah.
competent.
I think
filmmaking.
one of my issues, like, I mean, I like this movie a lot, but the issue I had with it is like when I was rewatching, I was like, there are a lot of close-ups in this movie. A little too
What did I tell
many
you?
close-ups.
This is like it's become a style.
That's
now,
a good
and
one. That's a good. The medium shot there on him. That's good. But like
Yes.
we had just too many, and then cut back to him. Like that's fine, but the close-ups to me were just like, okay, I want to see more of this set.
But you know why? The only reason it works. Only reason it works within this conversation is that there's a whole action scene that happens in this set afterwards. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if this is the whole scene in this whole set, why the heck did you make a set and shoot there in the first place?
Exactly.
That's what it feels like to me. And I don't know, maybe it's the Indian in me, but I'm like, if you make a set, we showing the set, we're using the set.
That's the classic cinema in me. Use the fucking set. Gotta see the set, please.
You don't like I told y'all for Oppenheimer,
And the
like
camera would move through it.
Like Oppenheimer, they built Los Alamos, but they shot in every single part of it. They used everything. They didn't waste anything. And I feel like that's the calculus of like filmmaking is like you're trying to use everything that you have the best way possible.
I'm gonna get this
And
tomorrow.
bro, that's so 2000s. The
But
the
I'm gonna
hinge
hold it like
on the
that.
flip phone.
I'm gonna hold it like this.
You know what hurt me when someone I think there's a thing online and they're like, oh, how do you pick up a phone, and kids are just doing this, they're just holding out their palm and putting it to their hand instead of like the hang you later, whatever.
This? What is this?
This is so cool. It's not
Taking
movie.
that.
This is not movie, okay? This is movie.
Not movie. This is movie.
Benji.
I was watching the. Yeah,
This is
he's
where
only
it starts.
He's only 3 scenes.
Yeah.
If that.
And this is like peak Shaun of the Dead
he's at the
because
end.
he looks so Shaun.
When they're all
the
standing in a
beard and
circle and
everything.
smiling at each other. He's in that scene. when they awkwardly like walk off really fast and everyone's like watching them walk off and clapping.
My favorite part of Rogue Nation is that
Look at that
we
backlight.
finally he has
There's
his own
Spielberg.
narrative and
There's his Spielberg backlight in that shot. He's like, yes.
Dan Mindel. We know Dan Mindel's filmography, right? That Dan Mindel for the longest time worked with Tony Scott.
Mhm.
That's who I was like refraining from mentioning when I said Michael Bay. I was like, is Tony Scott who we're ripping off here actually?
Yeah, when we get in that Crimson Tide 4K, it's 20 years.
Bro.
When are we gonna get some more of the
Years?
like Unstoppable on 4K, dude?
Wait, no, it's 30
Yeah.
years. 30 years ago.
Actually, Martin, you're talking about McHugh replying to your tweet. He retweeted me when I was talking about Crimson Tide. I think it's one of his last retweets since he went like when he went
he
down.
left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude
And
went
that's why I
blind
was
for a
like, for
minute.
the
I think he
longest
got tired
time,
of
it was
people on
just
Twitter,
nothing.
bro.
And
I
then it
don't
was just
blame
my
him.
retweet. And I was just like, these are my people.
They're the
I love
last.
Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide
30
is
years.
like,
I'm surprised there's no 4K. It's
if
30
anybody
years.
listening, if y'all haven't seen Crimson Tide, go fix it. Even if you watch Crimson Tide, I was watching the Blu-ray and I was like, this movie in 4K would be fantastic because like the work they did, even Denzel sitting in the car by himself, like with his wife, like saying like, hey, bye, I'm going, whatever. Even that scene, like there's this rain on the glass, these drops. It's so well done. Okay, let's talk about this shot. This is,
Impressive. I think it's a cool shot,
Yeah.
man. I don't care. Him running through like this whole area.
Yeah, it's a cool shot. I mean, they do this scene in Fallout, right? Same
They
thing.
do the scene in every movie, him running in
Yeah.
some way.
And then,
It's
and
not
then
to the
this-
same
this is the
extent.
shot
Like
right
this one,
here.
he's really running.
yeah,
Like he
Here we
goes
go.
for it. He
Shot
runs
him,
far as
yeah.
hell.
You know what I loved in the promo for the new one? That like 40 seconds they're doing
Yeah.
of him running. They're him running. Like, all right, it's a Mission Impossible movie. You gotta have Tom Cruise running. Did you see
To be
that?
fair,
This
I
is-
think a lot of that.
this is a
that
production
promo has to
value
do more
shot
with
right
like
here.
the location where he was running. But I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying, Pat. Like it's definitely like this promo is just him running, but he was running somewhere really cool.
In front of but it's like we gotta have him sprinting down the street. I mean, he has the perfect running form I've ever seen.
He's worked on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's Glenn Powell recently for Running Man of all movies that was getting pointers again from Tom about the running, and he's like, film the way you run, figure out how to make yourself not look stupid, because the first time you film yourself running, you're gonna look stupid. So it's like there's an intentionality behind all this. He knows what he's doing.
Your bait's
'Cause-
what's gonna happen to Philip Seymour Hoffman right there in the truck.
Yeah.
running by. There you go.
And they don't like the way that Tom runs is research. It purely is, because he would never run like this in real life, but it's the way that you run for cinema. That's what his whole meaning
It's
is.
the hands. It's the
It's the hands, yeah.
It's the hands, but it's
man.
also it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Because right now he's got a phone in his hand, but like the running still looks good. The frantic energy that he's putting out is perfect. And it's like, throw it all the way to Mission 7, right? He's running in Venice and then he's running around and he's actually lost because the entity is like kind of messing with Simon's voice or, Simon Pegg's character's voice, Benji's voice. So it's like he's doing a lot of acting even within the running. So it's that the running is acting and then he's also delivering dialogue, and people don't give Tom his credit for these movies. They say he's not acting.
one of the
He's
shots
acting
in
his
that new
ass
trailer
off
where he's
always.
running. He's crying. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think we're gonna
Bro,
lose
stop
somebody
telling
else.
me. I didn't even know he was crying in one of those shots.
It's because
Stop.
It's because the portals are opening up and everyone's
No.
coming back. So
No,
he's
because-
sprinting towards them.
I'm telling you,
Then
they're
they
gonna
do
kill
Newton's in the
Ving.
back.
Yeah,
On your
They're
left,
gonna kill
Ethan. On
Ving.
your left, Ethan.
on your
Ethan.
left.
On your left.
On your left.
Dun, 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 dun,
No, they're gonna
dun.
bring John.
Big
They're
Ray.
gonna bring John Boyd back. They're gonna bring John Boyd back. It's like
Yeah.
he's gonna be on the
He's still
bed
got that like blood on his
with a little
fucking
pointy
trench coat.
thing.
He tries to shoot him. He tries to shoot
No,
himself.
no,
Yeah.
he's gonna have something pointing under his French, his trench coat, like in Cosmopolis or Megalopolis.
Oh,
Jeez.
Megalopolis, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, they're Metropolis, whatever. They're all just fucking the same city.
Megalopolis, guys.
I was thinking about. I've been.
Metropolis.
We were talking about Cronenberg. That's why.
and Cosmopolis.
Oh yeah,
Shit.
Cosmopolis. Cosmopolis bangs, bro. I don't care what anybody says.
That's the first movie where I saw it. Like I saw it wherever back then, and I was like, Pattinson could be Bruce Wayne. He kind of pulls
Ahead of
this off.
its
It wasn't
time, man.
Bond. It
It's
was
ahead of its
Bruce Wayne.
time.
And people are like, oh, this guy for Bond. I mean, for Batman. I'm like, yes, he's got the sauce.
Tom Cruise is supposed to be Iron Man.
Yeah, they bring a Tony Stark variant in for the portal scene that we're talking about, like Robert Downey Jr.
Apparently, RDJ's playing a bunch of roles in the new movie, and I mean, Avengers sounds like a cluster. You know,
Yeah.
I don't care, to be honest, at this point anymore.
I don't
was making
either.
a joke about him being a variant
I don't know
just because.
Yeah. I think it's like
I've
it's
given
like
up on it.
It's like homework at this point. It's like I feel like I've watched so many of them and I have to keep watching them, but I don't really care that much anymore.
Today on Twitter, someone was like, "Hey, Logan, Infinity War, Endgame, Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, and I think one more movie." They're like, "Which one of these would you let go?" Pat saw, or I know Martin saw what I said. I was like, you can let Infinity War go, and you can let Endgame go. I'm good. I'm like, you can live without those stories. Spider-Man 2, on the other hand, Zach was like, "Oh, I can let Spider-Man 2 go." I was like, "No, you can't let Spider-Man 2 go." Spider-Man 2, like Raimi's Spider-Man 2, is still the best live-action Spider-Man movie we've gotten, in
It's
my
the best
opinion.
Spider-Man movie in general, not just live action.
Yeah.
That's including the Spider-Verse movies.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I loved Into the Spider-Verse that much that it supersedes that movie.
I liked them. I liked them. I don't
that
think I
movie
like
is
Into
the
the
reason why I
Spider-Verse as much
love.
as Across.
I love
Those are-
Spider-Man 2 because of Into the Spider-Verse because of Spider-Man 2. It's like,
There's
I don't know. There's,
on Michelle Monaghan. That was a very Spielberg shot. The way he shot that. I mean, JJ freaking loves Steven Spielberg.
yeah.
Oh man, these like there's a
This
very
this
methodical
music right
use of
here
slow-mo
is
in this
literally
one,
lost.
which I think
This music
really
right here
makes
is
the
literally
scene
lost. The horns like from Lost here.
Same Arrow. He's scoring that work, you know. So
I think the ending of this movie's, I think the climax doesn't hit hard for me. Like it's kind of just like, oh, he gets like shot, like he gets hit by the truck, and then Billy Crudup gets shot, and then he just basically electrocutes himself. But it's not as like
I
the
think
greatest
the
climactic
problem-
ending to this whole.
There's two things, Pat. Your point is that like it doesn't feel as climactic and it doesn't feel like it builds up enough. But
Mhm.
also Billy Crudup being shoehorned in at the last second as like, oh, he's part of this, makes it to where like, okay, so now there's two villains when we thought there was only one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the impact of like, okay, this guy's gone, but what about the other guy? And then he
Yeah.
doesn't show up until the last second and he dies so
yeah.
quickly. Like there's no build up to it.
Actually, one of the two writers, he recently passed away from, I think, cancer. Actually, I think Orsier, one of the two writers that like wrote on this, and then a couple of the Star Trek movies that.
Was Robert Orsi?
Yeah, I think so. The one that directed The Mummy, the one I don't like, I think he passed away.
The one that McQuarrie did, the one that McQuarrie wrote, that mummy
The
movie.
one
yeah.
that McQuarrie was trying to fix.
It was Robert Orsi. He died 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that trailer for the mummy that was released without like
yeah,
audio
the one
in
without
it?
the sound.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that video.
Someone got fired that day.
I think something about this, like you're talking about the issues with it, but I think this is the best way that you're going to end up doing this. Like, there's no other way out of this because you also
like,
want to
this-
have Michelle
This is
Monaghan.
essentially
You want to have
this is
Julia
essentially
in
the
it,
climax.
and
this is the
you want to
climax.
have. This is a. I'm trying to find a comparison to this in my head because there are comparisons of this. I mean, I guess the comparison would be True Lies. This is the
Yeah.
True Lies moment. Like, you want to have the fun, but you also want to have your other, like the significant other, also invested within the story, doing something pertinent.
Yeah,
So,
they're showing
actually,
her what
holy
he really
crap.
does as
isn't
as
this
a-
movie just True Lies? Think about it. It's set in the same area of New England. I'm joking, but like Rich is set in the Virginia, DC area. It's also got the same water sequence. There's a spy scene in a foreign area, like a foreign place. It's in the snow in the first True Lies, but this it's in Italy.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, you know, there's this sort of tension going on, except there's no daughter. Like this is a low rent version of True Lies.
Yeah, yeah.
Except
We're
this
gonna
has a
come back
better
to that when we
villain.
come to the Cameron pod, guys. Don't worry. We're
No,
gonna
but
cook
like
him.
y'all
Don't
see,
worry, guys.
no, but y'all see the pieces. I'm saying like
I see
there's
the
like
pieces.
there's a
Yeah.
worthy comparison to be made, but True Lies is a better movie, right? I think it's a better movie.
We'll
Well,
talk
yeah.
about it. We'll talk about it. It's a better movie, but there's other things at hand here that we're not talking about, and that's just because the True Lies isn't here to defend itself. So we'll come back to it.
No,
Like I
no,
said,
no. True Lies can defend itself already. It's already a better movie, no doubt. I'm just saying this is ripping True Lies, and I didn't realize all these years that it's ripping True Lies.
yes, but what I'm saying is that I have some points I want to make, but it's also been a few years since I've seen True Lies, so you got to give me that. Like when I rewatch True Lies in preparation for the episode, I'm sure that I have plenty of thoughts, but I'm gonna say this: with the exclusion of Piranha 2, True Lies is like on the lower end of the list for Cameron for me.
I mean, it's still
Only has,
lower end.
It's still a great movie. I don't want that to
No,
be like me dissing on the movie. I'm
his
just saying,
pinky,
like,
his bottom level work is still better than majority of people, which is saying something, right?
very much so.
I
And
think
I
the
like
problem.
that we understand that.
I
Yeah.
think the problem with this movie.
This is
just
JJ's worst. No, wait, never
whole
mind. This is not
sequence.
JJ's worst movie.
What were we saying, Pat?
I said I think the problem with this movie is this whole ending because like it turns into like Michelle Monaghan is now killing these people like and you're like I don't
It's
like,
rom-commy.
yeah,
It is the True Lies.
the whole buildup of like Philip Seymour Hoffman is fantastic in it and then he just gets hit by a
He
car.
gets ran over by a truck.
And
Yeah.
you're just like and then there's still a whole nother 5 minutes of them like doing a shootout and it's just like it doesn't work for me but I still like
Imagine
a lot.
Owen
It
Davian
just doesn't
in the
really
same place
work.
that we find well, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name again. The guy that they have in 5 and 6. The bad guy,
Who?
Owen Harris's
Now,
character.
now, if you had put the thing in Michelle Monaghan's head, and Ethan's trying to do this right now,
But they already
that's
put it in the
more
woman's
fucking
head
effective.
with Kerry Russell's character.
It's true, but I think it's just more. It'd be way more effective, and he has to deal with
You're right.
her almost dying while trying to fight Philip Seymour Hoffman at the same time, and he's got to
What do
decide
y'all
who
think of
what he's got to
them
do.
casting Kerry Russell? I don't. This is about to sound
Well, it's just-
real. It's gonna sound
it's
real
just-
incel. But why didn't they? It could have been a guy too, right? And then
Well, it's just
the
because of Felicity.
yeah. No, but I'm saying like, if you want the investment to be that they put it in
Here's
her
your
head
Lost-
instead.
Lost also.
Yeah,
Smack
I
in
know
the
what you're
chest.
talking.
Same thing.
But I don't know. They could have done
That'll
something.
I somewhat agree with you, Pat, to an extent. I think a lot of my issues with this third act in this finale has more to do with like the transition of
'Cause, yeah.
villains. Like in my head,
Yeah.
I think it would have been Billy Crudup gets killed by the truck, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman
Yeah.
shows up.
That's what. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
That would have
like,
been much
if-
more effective to me.
I think
like he
Philip
comes
Seymour
back in
Hoffman
and
was a
Philip Seymour
2 movie
Hoffman's
worthy
there.
villain. Like if he
Yeah.
had been in 2 movies and you'd left, like if you left him alive and he just came back with a vengeance, that is very much very much Philip Seymour Hoffman level. And imagine him doing 2 of these movies and coming back and just like ball swinging and doing the same level of work he was doing in the plane. Like, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have someone you love? Like that. It would have been fantastic.
You have a girlfriend. I'm gonna find her. You're gonna hurt her.
Dude.
And it's like,
Fucking sells that line, bro. I don't know how he does it, man.
Finer. I'm gonna hurt
but it's
her.
like I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's like a calculus behind where it's like you have to be cold and distant within it, but you're being like the most intense you've ever been. And this is very much, picturesque ending work.
Yeah.
And this movie was never meant to be fully serious. I don't think they ever went into this movie wanting to be serious. They kind of realized that they're making a caper. They're trying to make something fun. And this is the most fun they've had with any of these movies, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I think
4
it's
is
also-
fun, but it's also, nuclear. They went, end of the world with it. And then 5 is not end of the world. Then after that, they keep, 7 and 8 are very much end of the world. But I
'Cause, like, this
I think
here-
that matches Ethan.
This scene here, it's like Lawrence Fishburne's like, you're cool. So it's like I don't
Yeah.
understand like why he didn't bring him back. I understand.
Yeah, like that's what I mean is that like Lawrence
I'm
Fishburne
telling
is
you,
like
it had to be a
I think he should have
scheduling
been in it
thing.
more.
Because the
I
next
don't- yeah.
movie, the only person playing that role, not Jeremy Renner, but it's Tom Wilkinson playing the role
Tom Wilkinson, yeah. Oh yeah,
in
because
the
he's in the
car,
car. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
and then he gets murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was like, you would have probably had. No, but he's playing like the secretary or something, right?
It could have been
He's
any
not the
character
secretary,
though.
right?
Like that Tom Wilkinson character could have been
I mean,
literally any
could have brought
character,
it.
and it
You
just
could have
would
brought
have been
Lawrence
Lawrence
Fishburne back in
Fishburne still
five.
in the movies.
Yeah,
Could have brought him
no,
back
they
in
definitely,
five.
they definitely should have brought him back in five, but they
Yeah.
brought in Alec Baldwin essentially so they can
The
have him
scene's
be a
always
foil.
the scene I
They
always
needed an
laugh
antagonist, that's why.
because he like hugs everybody besides Jonathan Rhys Davies. He just like shakes his hand, and it's so awkward.
You know what that is? It's the meme from Key and Peele where it's like the president's
I mean,
like
I
dapping
did
up
start
people
kinda-
and then he's like shaking hands.
I did start kind of
No,
chuckling at this.
you
like,
see what
why
I
are they,
mean?
like, so
Fade
happy
out.
with-
This is a fade out. This is such a rom-commy movie. It's such a romance.
right.
It's such a caper movie.
We did it. MI3 guys. What episode are you guys most excited for after this?
Dun, dun, dun,
6.
dun.
You already know.
I think I'm
Me
most
too
excited
again.
for Rogue Nation, to be honest. Like
I mean,
am
I'm excited for
also
them
excited
all.
for Ghost Protocol, but like the one I'm excited the most right now, I think, is Rogue Nation.
Fallout's that's my baby, but Rogue Nation is my baby, and Ghost Protocol is like a 75% baby, but we'll get into that baby next time.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.